There we are, and we are live. Right.
Hello again.
Well, that messed up the schedule then, just slightly, didn't it? Hang on.
Only a little bit. Only a little bit. Hopefully, people will still join.
Hopefully. I mean, it is a good time of the evening, but we'll just see how it goes. Let's set you back up over there. So now you can see me, don't you? Perfect. Right. And what I'm going to do is I am going to log in, because if we do get live chat, I want to be able to see it on another screen. So I'm going to log in with my other account, switch off and mute. There we go. So we don't hear ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm going to log in with my other account.
I've done the same, just in case. Let's do a check. See if that comes up.
Yeah, there we go. Right.
Brilliant. Now we just need some people.
Now we got four people. We got 4 people watching.
Excellent.
So we finally made it.
We have. We've been talking about this for a while, haven't we?
Well, what's amazing is we've been talking about it for a while and we just haven't got around to it. And then the worst bit of it is that we half an hour ago we sat there and did a test to ensure this actually fucking worked.
And it did.
And it did. And then the minute we actually go live, you couldn't hear me at all for like 3 attempts.
Crashed completely.
Philip Smithy, nice to see you. Good evening from both me and from
hello.
So yeah, scheduling has been difficult for us over the last couple of months, hasn't it? So
yeah, it's been a bit tricky, but we're here. We made it.
We are here. We are ready to go. I'm just going to move the camera because I'm looking on my other screen and I am not central. So let's try and sort. There we go. Cool. So let's let a couple of people in and then we'll get started with the chat. Darren Mass is here. Of course he is, because he's the #1 fan. Hello, Darren. He was with me on I don't know if you watch any of 6mm Badgers videos.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, and me and Darren were both on his live streams the last couple of times, and last night we were on there and Darren was asking me about my content.
Nice.
Evening, Harry. Evening, Max.
Max is there. Hi, Max. Thanks for coming along.
So we got 23 viewers at the moment.
It's not bad.
23 people want to listen to 2 old dudes talk about airsoft and gas blowbacks, so that's interesting.
Oh, watch it drop now that you've said that.
Lethal Games has said hello to you.
Yeah, don't ask him about the bush aids. Yeah, I don't even know how that started, but it was a game at 6mm, and somebody was coughing their guts up, and we just went, "Oh, it must be bush aids," and it's kind of stuck. And now, anything that causes anybody any discomfort, it's bush aids.
I think one of our old sites, back when we used to do private games many years ago, had a swamp, and we used to tease anyone that was daring enough to go through the swamp and say that they had swamp aids as well. So it's probably not a thing. So the site we used to use was near the river, and it flooded every winter. And after it flooded, it then froze. So ice was at 3 feet high. But there was a bit where there's 2 bowls, and in the middle of these 2 bowls was a narrow alleyway that used to take you to the towpath. We used to call it Ambush Alley because there was, if you tried to get through it, it was such a defensible position that you get fucked. One way you could get into Ambush Alley without being shot was to go through either the swamp on the left or the swamp on the right. But if you got into Ambush Alley and killed anybody that was in there, you got announced as having swamp aids because it was fucking disgusting. I mean, like, rotten fiction.
It's not a new thing. See, Dave, it's not a new thing. It's been around for years.
Yeah, that was 30 years ago. So, you know, it's
yeah. So should we tell people what we're going to talk about then?
We're going to talk at swamp aids, aren't we? Wasn't that the
I
plan?
think I think we've covered that quite a bit now.
Yes.
Bush aids, swamp aids, all that good and bad swamp and bush aids.
Yeah, I do remember the rhododendrons at Fireball Squadron as well,
Oh, fuck me, roadies. God
which
damn
is
it.
like how to get tied up in 10 seconds flat.
Yeah, yeah. They're
But if you
still
got underneath it, I was lucky because back then I was quite a small dude, so I used to be able to get right underneath the roots, and you could crawl underneath, and you could get some
good.
good pass around, down the alleyways. You
Yeah,
get some good ambushes on people. However, back then when we were wearing belt kit or like ops vests or whatever, to get there was a bit of a task and frustration.
yeah, yeah.
At
And
least,
I can't bend enough to get through those roadies anymore. I need a fucking
mate,
proper,
I would get down, but I wouldn't get back up. My knee would go like, "No, you're fucking
yeah.
lying down now." It's
I
that
need a
simple.
proper cut path through the roadies these days.
No D, they're not real guns. They're airsoft guns behind me here, and unfortunately, due to YouTube's,
Oh,
uh,
ridiculous,
we
isn't it?
can't touch them today.
That's why I've got my model planes instead. So I'm pretty sure nobody's going to get offended by some plastic models.
They will because there's like roundels on it or something like that. I mean,
Well, yeah, there's even one of those German signs that people don't like on a couple of them.
oh dear, oh dear. In answer to Lethal Games, there is a rattler behind me, but you can't see it. So
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about your rattler
I
because we've
didn't
got
even
one
know
here.
Dave had a rattler. He never mentions it, you know. Fucking
I,
hell.
do you know what's really funny is I don't know his YouTube name, but the second he mentioned his rattler, I knew who he was from the Facebook group. That's how bad that is.
Everybody knows about your rattler, Dave. Everybody knows. Even the people who don't know.
Isn't it
So,
crazy?
yeah.
Evening Corrupt Sapphire, welcome to the chat. So we've got like 20 odd people at the moment. So I guess we should get on to the topic that we're actually going to talk about. Um,
Let's
and
do that.
essentially what we're saying is let's talk about where things are going in 2026, what we're going to be expecting, what we're going to be doing in 2026, right, as individuals, not just YouTube, but in Airsoft in general, what we're looking forward to, that kind of thing. Because
Yeah,
obviously we are now in the new year. Um,
exactly.
and we've not seen a great amount of what's coming this year.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no.
no, I mean,
MOA was good though. MOA was a pretty good show.
MOA is the show now. MOA is the show because I think that IWA is pretty much dead. SHOT Show has been dead for years for
I
Airsoft.
mean, SHOT Show just costs so much. You got the tourist tax and the cost of hotels and flights and everything. You've got to be, unless you're over there already. I know there's a few guys who are going from the UK, but it's not
It's
worth
pretty
it.
poor. It's not worth it, and you're paying Vegas prices just for the sake of
Yeah.
paying Vegas, really. So if you want a holiday to Vegas and see some guns at the same time, then yeah, sure, SHOT Show might be worth it. If you're going for airsoft, it's not worth it because there's barely any airsoft there. Most of the Asian manufacturers and brands these days are working from MOA.
Mm.
Whilst they still might appear at IWA, that MOA is the new home base, and that's cool because I think that's Taiwan and China are now the central places for the
Yeah,
manufacturing for
absolutely. I
airsoft.
mean, you can see it as well just from the stands that they've got, like at MOA. And like the Toxicant one was really swished. The VFC one was the size of a small house.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it
But then
just makes sense for them.
absolutely, but I will caveat that in the sense that we have to understand like the demographics of it. So if you go
Mm,
to IWA, Umarex traditionally have
yeah,
like most of a floor. They didn't this year, funnily enough. I did pop over this year for one day, and the Umarex airsoft pit was actually utter gash. But ordinarily, Umarex control that show, and if you go in the firearms halls, it's Heckler and Koch and Glock because it's
yeah,
their home markets. So likewise in Taiwan, you're going to see VFC, you're going to see Action, you're going to see Toxicant, you're going to see Guns Modify, you're going to see Archwick,
yeah. LC2,
controlling that.
Bolts, all those
Yeah,
guys.
do we talk about them?
The what?
Do we talk about them?
I
They're
mean,
worth
Bolt
investing.
Bolt are making a gas blowback.
They
Whether
are,
it'll
but
be,
everybody. So
Any
I think
if it'll be as good as their electric recoils, then it'll take itself apart for the first service.
exactly. You don't want to drop on your foot.
No.
What's interesting about MOA actually? Let's touch on that because MOA is the sort of start of the new year for airsoft, isn't it? And what was interesting is to see people like Classic Army coming back into the scene with an MWS
Yeah.
flag as well. So
Yeah.
I think we're
I
starting to see the dawn of GBB as the industry standard. It's not the specialized thing that it once
No,
was.
it's really, really grown. I mean, was it 10 years since Maru released the MWS? But like we were saying before, I mean, we both had the Wii closed bolt systems, which were
Yeah.
uh, sort of an evolution of the sort of traditional, was it the Daytona gun systems or the bullet valve?
It
I
was
can't
similar to the
remember which.
Escort system, yeah. It was very similar to the Escort system for sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, like I said, I remember when Western Arms, and I'm sure there's people who've probably not even heard of Western Arms who play today, but they released the first, what I would say, modern gas blowback rifle. I mean, it had a plastic body because it was Japanese. It was low powered, again, because it was Japanese, but it was an M4 gas blowback rifle that bloody worked.
Yeah.
I had one of those for a bit, got we closed bolts, we open bolts. Then I got the MWS 8 years ago. That was my first one. I think I've had about 12 now. And then some kind chap introduced me to VFC gas blowbacks about 2.5, 3 years ago. And I've been making bad financial decisions after bad financial decisions ever since.
I mean, you can't entirely blame me for that. The
I
VFC
didn't even say who it was.
So similar to you, I mean, I had some of the Western Arms based stuff early on. My first proper gas blowback, what I call a modern gas blowback, gas in mag system,
Yeah.
was the WE closed bolt system, and then moved on to the WE open bolt system, which isn't really open bolt, but we
Mm.
all know what that means. Then I went through GHK.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to MWS. I tried an MWS. I did have an MWS, and I didn't keep it. I prefer the GHKs. I've got several, variants of GHK still. I've got rid of some, but still kept a lot. And then VFC, who I'd had their version 1 MP5 from a
Mm.
very long time ago, and I've still got it. It's still behind me right there.
Yeah.
Um, and I was always impressed with their external quality, but I was never that impressed with how they shot.
Yeah.
Their efficiency, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
then, like you said, around 2017, we saw the V2 Plus system from VFC come in, where the gas efficiency and cold weather performance was starting to improve. And then when V3 came in, it was just transformed everything.
V3, I mean, even compared to the V2, the V3 is a massive step up. But yeah, for the V1s, I can very clearly remember people on forums before Facebook really kicked in, sort of going, I got through half a mag and then the gun just shat itself.
Yep.
And it was the same with their AEGs, to be fair. The VFC externals have always been great. Internals,
Stunning.
whether gas or electric, have always been shit. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably what put a lot of people. I mean, I was reticent at first to move away from MWS to the VFC system
Yeah.
because I'd never had a problem with MWS. They always work. But you convinced me to try, I think it was the SR16 E3, and I got it. And I've had three since then, I think.
Yeah.
Two ended up as KS1s. And I think I sold one just as an SR16, but absolutely loved them. And that's why all of my gas blowbacks, bar one now, are by one route or another VFC, whether it be APFG or Mariama.
No, no, yeah.
And they
Or
all shoot brilliantly. And, like I was saying to you before we started, I used my KS1, which I've done a couple of changes to. So I always change the hot rubber for a Friction Pro. Don't know how it does it, but it seems to work really well for me in all of my guns, whether it's pistol, rifle, whatever. Uh, it just seems to work. I put that in, and then the ARs, I always swap the buffer spring for an 85% Waldo Dynamics one, and then they've all got MPAS in, obviously.
yeah.
Um,
I'm just
but
going to address something Darren's just said in the chat about VFC AKs, and
yeah,
it it kind of ties into what you were saying about the AEGs as well. So I agree with you on the AEGs. They're externally fantastic, and
Mm,
internally they're very hit and miss. You never know whether you're going to get a good one or you're going to get a bad one. If you get a bad one, it's never going to run right. The exception to that was actually, I know he's talking about the gas blowbacks here, but the VFC AEG AKs was still the gold standard of AEG of
yeah,
AK AEGs, and to a certain extent, even in the days of E&L and Real Sword, they still are. They're still gold standard, really. But they're obviously discontinued a very long time ago.
yeah.
How they managed to get those AEGs to run so beautifully when a lot of their other AEGs just don't is
Well,
just
I
amazing.
had their 416 and 417 AEG. I think part of the problem was the wires they used. They were shit quality. They were really thin, little, horrible, stiff wires.
Yeah.
And their self-shimming gearboxes were not
Oh, they're
great.
awful.
They were
Well,
not great.
I can honestly say, as someone that's been in the industry, should we say, with VFC, my frustration with their AEGs was that we never knew from batch to batch what was gonna change.
Yeah,
So there was no consistency and there was no change log. So we would advertise something as having 7 millimeter bearings and no MOSFET, and then we'd
it would.
open up a box and someone would say, "Well, this has got a MOSFET, inline MOSFET in it." Like, you didn't. No one told us, and they changed back to 6 millimeter bushings, nylon bushings instead of seven
Yeah,
millimeter.
you.
They were just inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah. I think the consistent. I mean, I don't know about the AEGs because I've literally got one AEG left now. I don't really use them at all. I still rate quite a few AEGs really highly, like your review of the NGRS TM
Oh,
MP5, best one they've made.
incredible!
I've got a
Best product.
M4, but it's amazing. But the consistency is of the VFC GBBRs now is top notch, and I know there's people
Yeah,
out there who don't like them, and I know people will say, "Oh, you're talking about Jaeger." I've shot VFC guns with James on the range. Um, I think his expectations of them might be higher. I'm
yeah,
looking at it
yeah.
from a if I can hit a target at 50, 55 meters, I'm perfectly happy with that because I use it for play and I'm not really after
I'm
necessarily
not target
getting.
tuning.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
I don't need to get 10 shots in 15 centimeter square target at 60 meters to enjoy playing with my gas blowbacks. In fact, some of the guys who are on the chat can tell you I'm normally out of mags by the time I've got just out of the safe zone, just because I've enjoyed shooting it. And then I go, right, I need to go and get more mags. And just to address what Dave said, yeah, AK should be fucking banned.
Well, I'll say this, right, is that of all the VFC guns I've got, and I do have a fair amount of VFC guns, especially the GBs, especially the newer last 4 years. Um, the most consistent, accurate, and longest range rifles I have are the VFC FEL series,
Mm,
insane, VFC AK series, the FNC, and the HK53. Um, all of those I've kept stock up, everything. And I was at this docs myself a little bit. I was at Frontier Airsoft. It's where I tend
yeah,
to pop into if I'm going to have a game. And the first time I used, the G3 was the first one that was really outstanding as well. Like I got the G3, I was like, fucking hell, VFC had transformed their performance because that thing just reached out.
yeah.
Down at 1 joule, I was running it as a DMR at 1 joule in the winter. And Ed, the site manager, was spotting, and of course, I was just pulling single shots.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I do that with any gun anyway because I hate wasting ammunition. I get frustrated if I don't hit someone within 2 rounds with
Me,
myself, not with
me
them,
too, me too.
because I see it as I've failed doing my part. Um, and I fired this shot with his G3, and Ed had a rangefinder on him.
Yeah,
And he went, "I can't believe you hit that guy." And he zapped him, and it was 73 meters.
I can believe it.
Stop
I can
G3.
believe it.
Completely stop G3. And now, whenever I go there, I know this little spot where you can cut people off as they come around a certain place. And I set myself up the same place with a foul. Not the last time I was there, the time before. And the foul was zipping straight past where the G3 was.
Yeah.
Again, stock internals, apart from the fact I've done real parts, I've done real
Yeah,
trigger,
you
steering,
do
stuff
like
like that.
sticking the real bits on your guns, don't you?
Yeah,
But
it's fine. But
I mean,
internally, stuff.
yeah, I change very little, and most people I think who know me or have seen my channel know that I don't just do upgrades for upgrade's sake. I don't chuck loads of new bits in just to see. I tend to stick with bits that I've used. I mean, I did try the quantum hot rubbers and I tried a few in different guns. And when I found that the performance was what I wanted, then I swapped all of my guns to them, which was an absolute bloody nightmare doing about 16, 17 hop chambers swaps. It was, oh God. But my M110K1 that I had, Dave's got it now. I swapped the inner barrel in that and the hot rubber and this buffer spring. That was it. And that was, he was using it as DMR, 6mm, getting hits on targets at 70 plus meters. Again, with I think they had. Did you have a rangefinder? I can't remember if you had a rangefinder or not, Dave. But they were getting some known distance hits at 70 meters. And again, you wouldn't have expected that with the VFC gas blowbacks of 5 years ago, because you wouldn't have expected it to fire when you pulled the trigger.
I think the V3 was about 7 years ago, and that's the first one that really did reach out. We were discussing briefly when we were doing the test earlier on that I do think that the quantum rubber is a fantastic rubber, and I think the quantum chamber is a fantastic chamber for the M4. And I'm looking forward to now because there's a version coming for the MCX as well.
Yes.
So I do think those platforms really benefit from those upgrades. And I do think the unicorn barrels match with it very, very well indeed. Because the one thing I would say with the VFC stuff is that those stock black alloy barrels are not very great. They do the job, but they can be better.
I think there's a lot of inconsistency. That's the thing.
Exactly, yeah. And they're very short and very light. So there's the resonance never isn't the same.
The barrel in my MCX was like that, and the hot chamber was like that. It was ridiculous.
Crazy, isn't it?
It was twice the length of the barrel.
I think the other platforms like the AK and the FAL actually run really, really well on the stock setup.
Yeah.
However, I think the M4s do benefit more from an out-of-the-box upgrade. So I'm not an out-of-the-box upgrader. I don't tend to upgrade stuff for the sake of it. But I do think that the AR-15 series in particular from VFC does benefit from a better hot rubber and probably a better barrel as well.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be changing those two things, and it doesn't have the new Evo hop in it, you may as well just put a quantum chamber in there as well, because that quantum chamber, the precision on it, once you lock it in, it's not.
It's rock solid. It's really good. It's really nicely machined as well. The parts just fit together. I really like it. The only problem is it's the price. If you're dropping, let's be realistic, what, 600 quid for a stock VFC GBBR retail, then you've got to drop at least another 100 on top of that for the barrel, the rubber, and the chamber. Maybe a bit more than that, actually. And then if you haven't got mags, and I think this is what puts a lot of people off, it's the mags, isn't it? You've got to get
exactly. No, I'll say this:
X number of mags.
M4 mags are reasonably priced.
They're
one of the most VFC M4 mags are one of the most reasonably priced gas blower mags. They're WE territory price. They're not GHK territory, they're KWA territory, or even MWS territory. They are actually cheaper than most.
Yeah,
okay, when it comes to like the FAL mags or something a bit more bespoke, I mean, the new M7, those mags are going to be fucking pricey. We all know that, don't we? So,
which is weird because they're just the SR25 mags, aren't they?
Basically. They are. But they've done a new casing for it. It's a new SIG casing, isn't it? They will take the standard SR25 mags. Good news for you, because when you buy one, you've got mags for it. I say when, not if.
Had mags. Dave's got my M4, my M110 now, because I that went towards a new kayak.
Bear with me a second. You can carry on talking. I can still hear you, but I just need to go off screen for a sec because I have tea and I can't drink it through this.
No worries. Yeah. So I'm just the hot rubbers was a nightmare doing them all. I did have mags. You've got them all now, Dave. So I may have to nick some off you at some point when I get my M7, or hopefully. Well, I noticed the APFG one isn't an M7, and it's not the M7 enhanced that they released to the army either. It's kind of in between. It's got the 12.5-inch barrel or 12.1-inch barrel, and not an 11.5.
I think it's actually some of the changes. It's a commercial spear, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, they've not got the folding stock, which
Yeah.
again the A1, if that's what they're going to call it, version has. So they've adopted some of the changes.
Hasn't the new version also deleted the left side charging handle as well?
Yeah, but they haven't on the APFG one. That's still there.
No, no, exactly, yeah. Um, right, I'm
But
going to put this
it's
on.
that segues quite nicely into what we're looking forward to and what's sort of coming out, really, doesn't it? I think I am looking forward to that coming out. I saw the Toxicant one because one of my friends has got it, and whilst it's beautifully made, it's a summer gun.
Their
Really,
mags are awful too.
yeah, it's a summer gun. Those mags, I've got books that are smaller than those mags. Trying to find
And
parameters for them is a
the
pigging
performance on the
nightmare.
newer mags is dire as well, apparently.
Yeah,
The new generation mags are really, really bad. Um,
yeah.
I'm just not overly convinced by Toxicant, if I'm honest. I never have been. And I've kind of taken some personal glee in the fact that Salvo have really knocked them off their perch in some ways.
Salvo have come out of nowhere and absolutely obliterated them. They're offering guns. In fact, I think Dave's got a Rattler by them. He might have mentioned it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you might have.
They have just okay. The machining's not as crisp. The finish isn't maybe as nice as a Toxicant, but you've got a gun that works for half the price, and it's complete when you get it. You don't have to put anything into it. And the trigger's nice as well. I mean, this is one thing that's always bugged me about MWS is the triggers feel like you're pulling a
It's
sponge,
absolute dog shit.
especially if you use VFC guns. And as I think Dom mentioned it earlier, the VFC
And
trigger
GHK.
is just
GHK
wow.
M4 had a beautiful crisp trigger.
Oh, they're gorgeous. Yeah,
For all of the faults, GHK triggers were spot on, and their build, like the way they felt, was really good. They always had the steel barrel, which I
yeah,
wish VFT would fucking fit steel out of barrels as standard on their M4s, because they do it on their AKs,
yeah,
but for some reason not on the M4s and a lot of the other products. As you know, I changed most of my outer barrels to steel on all models, so the FNC, the FALs, the HK53, the MP5s, they've all got steel outer barrels. I think they do it A to try and keep the costs down, and B to try and keep the weight down for the gamers in Taiwan.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, the gas blowbacks to me have always been about the realism.
Yeah, I get
Um,
that, but I think there's still a lot of people who want to play using gas blowbacks, but they don't want to carry around a massively heavy gun because the mags are a lot heavier than an AEG mag by a factor of 5 times normally.
I would have said that years ago, but I think the VFC M4 mags and
I
even the
think
Falcon are
I
very light.
weighed one the other day and they were about 320 grams. Now, compared to the KWA gas mags, which was 750 grams each, when I had 6 of those with my Radian Mod
Yeah,
1, they weighed more than the bloody gun.
yeah. Even a stock MWS mag weighs an absolute ton.
Yeah.
It's
The VMAGs
really,
as well, I find, are probably the most efficient.
they're really nice.
When I did that MPAS testing we were talking about, so I tested 4 different MPASs for people that don't know. I did the standard VFC one, the Clarence Lie Precision, the Jaeger, and then the new Waldo Dynamics one. There wasn't a huge amount of difference between all of them. I'm going to redo it because I just wasn't 100% happy with it. But I checked the Stanag versus the VMAG, and the VMAG gave better results every time.
Yeah, and it's because it's still aluminium. I'm
Yeah,
going to reply to Lethal Games here, Dave, because he's just brought up something about the MWS, and I'm going to be fair now. The MWS, for most people coming into the gas blowback, you can buy an MWS, keep it stock, run it on .28. It's going to run nicely. It's going to shoot well. It's going to give you everything you need,
yeah,
really. Where the MWS lacks is the inability to hop anything heavier than a .28 happily, if you want that more precision, and for the realism side of things. So
yeah.
I would say that if you're getting into gas blowback, an MWS, or actually I would argue now that a double eagle is better than an MWS.
Double Eagle, yeah. Or if you want to go for like the more modern looking, like the MPCXs, then the Salvos.
The Salvo is double eagle.
Yeah, I think Double Eagle are at the root of a lot of them at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah,
If you go
double
back.
eagle and Well Pro are now coming in as well.
Those Well Pros, one of the guys at 6 Mils got the KS3, and it's an absolute beast.
Yeah, have you actually compared the build next to your KS1?
No, I didn't put it next to it. I don't think I had my KS1 when he had his KS3 there, so it'd be
We were getting
interesting
a
to
load.
see. Oh yeah, I'm not expecting it to look the same
Yeah,
externally.
we were getting a load from Wellpro. It took us longer than we desired to get them from Wellpro, and when they actually arrived was a month after the KS1 came out from
Oh,
VFC. So by the time it arrived, we picked them up, went chintzy, proper chintzy,
yeah.
and they got such weird little foibles about them. Because I saw them first at IWA and held it, and I was like, "Oh, it's really cool! Someone's doing a proper KS1 that's not costing $1.5." Angry gun.
Yeah, or trying to do it yourself and still spending almost that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I built my original one on an SR16E3 going back 4 years ago, as you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, by the time that like they actually managed to get enough out in the market, and they kept changing from VFC mag system to MWS mag
Mm,
system, and messing around with the internals, and no one knows what you're getting. And then when they did arrive, the KS1 was already out from VFC. It was like,
yeah.
oh fuck, we need to get these out the door quick.
Yeah. Because like I don't know if you saw that meme that I put up when the VFC released the KS1, and you know that picture of the bloke walking with his girlfriend looking at the woman's arse, and I put the KS1 you built versus the VFC KS1, and when I put mine that I built, which I was really happy with,
Same, same.
next to it, I was like close to tears, going, "This costs less than I spent on the base gun
Yeah.
to
So what's
build
really
this."
upsetting is that I have a custom machined KS1 steel barrel in
Yeah,
my SR16. It's like it weighs a fucking ton, the correct profile, everything.
yeah.
And I would love to put that into the VSC KS1, but
Won't fit though,
obviously
will
with a
it?
new chamber, it's not going to be
Yeah.
well.
It would fit. You
You
could just
could,
have to run the Magnus chamber, wouldn't you?
or I mean, you could run it as is. The problem is it's not going to key up with the gas block.
No. Well, yeah, you'd have to get it
The gas block's
remachined for that,
incredibly.
wouldn't you?
Exactly. So it's just that over there as a backup now. So if I do a training event and someone needs a KS1 that doesn't have one, I've got a spare KS1.
Yeah.
I'm not turning that back into an SR16, and I can't sell it because that barrel alone is 150 quid.
There you go. That answers that question. For somebody asked how much was it. Yeah, there's the Angry Gun have been. I mean, their internal parts not great always, but I think their externals are better. They're not the best in
Oh,
the world.
they're a little bit hit and miss. I mean,
Yeah,
they did the L1982 rail for us,
yeah,
like at a request of UK milsimers.
mm,
It was done specifically as a project for UK milsimers. Myself and another guy managed to get those commissioned through a UK distributor, and Angry Gun did them for us. And let's face it, people are still fitting those rails
yeah,
onto
yeah. Exactly.
onto it.
Because if you can't get the monolithic Archwick version, and just look how many. There's Neptune, is it? That's the Rossi one, is it? There's four or
The Rossi
five
is completely wrong
companies that.
shape. The Rossi is actually between the two lamps.
Yeah.
It's not a carbine and it's not a CQB. It's actually wrong, completely wrong. Um, Yeah, what's crazy is obviously I have access to certain figures and things, and I know that the L1982 rail, I'm really proud of this. The L1982 rail is the best selling
Cool.
aftermarket rail ever sold through
Wow.
distribution.
I'm surprised by that. I was expecting it to be like a Mark 18.
It was the Mark 18 downhill defense rail
Yeah.
from Magnum, the bronze 9.5.
Yeah.
That was, but because the Mark 18 sales have dropped off
Mm,
and L982 rails are still continuing, they've actually more units get sold now. More units have been sold than the Mark 18 rail, and also there were more replicas of the Mark 18 rail as well. So
yeah.
that kind of divided a little bit of the uh,
Yeah.
the sales up a little bit. But yeah, so we had a
Mm.
question from Dazbag. Well, Pro KS3, how are the internals? MWS steel trigger box. So there are steel components in that trigger box. There's still a little bit of zinc alloy as well. they change their spec all the time. They're not consistent spec. That's the problem with
Mm.
them, is you just don't know what model you're going to get, what mag it's going to take, what internals it's going to have. If you can pick one up and hold it and inspect it and test it in a shop, then go for it. They're a cool KS3 or KS1 to have if you don't want to spend the 600 and something quid on a VFC one. But I would recommend,
I'd
if
save
you want
up.
a KS1, get the VFC one.
Yeah.
And people say how expensive the VFC KS1 is. It's still less than half the price
Oh,
of
God.
just the conversion kit from Angry Gun.
Yeah, exactly. And then, as we
Something like
said, if you want to build it yourself, unless you go down the route of custom engraving, custom machining, you'll still won't get one that's
well,
more
no,
than
in fairness to
95%
Angry Gun,
accurate.
their conversion kit comes with a receiver and everything.
Yeah, you get a lot for it. You get the buffer tube, which is in the right color,
Yeah,
with the little commando dagger on it as well. If you get the premium kit, isn't it? It comes with genuine Magpul furniture.
yeah.
But yeah, I really rate the VFC one, and with that GK Tactical can on it, which is really good. Loads better than the VFC one, which I don't know why they didn't put a grub screw on the flash hider.
They
Just
dropped a bollock on the flash hider. No, I actually no, that's unfair. I understand why they didn't put a grub screw on the flash hider. Actually,
okay.
it
What was
shouldn't
the
be there.
no? But for the
They,
airsoft version, it needs it if you're going to put a can on.
they've replicated the real one, which uses a crush washer, and it's torqued down and this and the other. So, in an ideal world, it would be torqued and it wouldn't come off, and it'd be brazed, whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, for airsoft, they should have put a hidden grub screw on there. But I understand why they did that. What I don't understand is they got fucking licensing for the whole rifle, and then they didn't put license trades on the suppressor, which is just absolutely insane.
yes, yeah. They should
Like
have done that. I
even Wellpro and now getting licensing for the Knights Armament.
yeah.
Knights Armament licensing is one of the easiest licenses to get.
I think I've got one somewhere. I'm pretty sure I got a Knights Armament license somewhere.
Yeah, I think if I dug around the back of the sofa, I've probably got one down the back of there
Yeah,
as
in a
well.
McDonald's Happy Meal, but it's still good. I mean, this is another thing that's really good in airsoft, and something that when we both started, most of the real firearms companies would have looked down their nose at airsoft. The thought, obviously there was Cybergun that was
Yeah,
the evil empire of airsoft, but just buying up
yeah.
license after license, then chucking it onto the shittiest, cheapest produced airsoft guns. That's
Which is now
changed.
what Umrex and Sig Air do.
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
ASG as well. ASG have gone from using
Yeah,
an okay-ish OEM at KJ Works to using Wingun for their semi-automatic cast playback pistols. It's just no.
yeah,
I'm going to just answer Dave there. He's saying about the needing to wear ear pro with the KS1. Yeah, the KS1's loud, but
yeah.
I'll say this: if you think the VFC KS1 is loud, fire the foul. That thing's 123 decibels at the ear.
Yeah,
123 decibels at the ear. That's insane.
I might have to do a test next time I've got my KS1 to have. Well, I'm very tempted to go and grab it then and do it, but we'd get cut
We
off.
get I tell you what
Um,
I've been tempted with my VFC KS1 is to actually remove the commando dagger.
really?
Yeah,
Because you want to
because
go for like
I'm
22.
replicating the L400A1. I'm
Yeah,
not replicating the L403. So it shouldn't have the dagger on it.
no. But it's still got the grey tube, or would you have to paint it?
No, it's still got the grey tube. So you actually have to like get rid of
Yeah,
the marking. But it's not such a big thing, to be honest with you. And I dare say that a fair few the later batches of the L400A1 probably ended up with the same buffer tube as the L403 anyway, so I'm really not that bothered. But
yeah,
yeah, the one thing I would be tempted to do with that is actually to remove the commando dagger, which is just fucking weird to most people, but there we go. People don't realize the L400A1, the KS1 for the UKSF, came a year and a half before the Rangers and Marines one. So it obviously the Marines and the Rangers adopting it kind of made it famous.
yeah. I mean, there's lots of pictures out there of the KS1 in the wild with the three-letter boys.
Yeah, I saw a
Um,
cool photo the other day from a guy that I've actually dealt with. Like, I sold him VFC KS1. He's an ex-pool lad
Okay.
who put a photo up of one of his rifle because he left after the KS1 came in at pool, and he had a tan BCM pistol grip on his. He didn't have
Okay.
a macro grip, which was quite different to see. I was like, oh, that's actually quite a nice change, to be honest with you, because it's a more vertical grip as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
just trying to read without my glasses on these comments.
Can't be they're loud enough for a great experience on the field. Yeah, I do like the loudness. One of my other ones that I built up from a receiver was the Mark 18 Mod O, and that thing is bloody loud. Like somebody was kneeling down in front of me, and they nearly, when I fired it, nearly jumped up into the line of fire from surprise because it was just really. Hang on, come here, you little monkey.
Hello. The
Oh,
GHK 553, the SIG 553, that's loud as well, to be fair.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
really loud. What should have been louder, oh, you can't see it in the shot, but actually they can, is the WEG 36C. That should have been louder because having been around a lot of firearms over the years, the loudest firearm I've ever been near was a G36C firing blanks. I
Okay,
was double ear proed and it still felt like someone was jumping up and down on my chest.
all
Very
right.
unpleasant.
So what? A
Very
combination of the short barrel and the steel three prong. Is it got a three,
I,
4 prong flash hider? Just
I've
ringing.
no idea. Like, especially when it was being compared. So the G36Cs were being used by OPFOR, and
Yeah.
the operational forces taking them on, should we say, were using simunition through
Mm,
LMTM4. And simunition is very quiet. Like UTMs are very quiet. So there
yeah.
was a distinct difference anyway. Like it was like a contrast, I guess, was big because they were using blanks and G, but there was just something absolutely concussive about those things. They were unpleasant to be around. They were certainly unpleasant to be right next to.
Yeah.
Um, and I was quite surprised because, as I said, I've been around a lot of firearms, especially back then.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is actually like, I'm not enjoying this. Usual for me. It's like, this is not enjoyable. They're unpleasant to be around.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think it's got. I mean, like you said, the foul, what, 123 decibels. That's like on the edge, really, isn't it?
that's not.
For
It's ear safe for occasional
yeah,
noise,
but not if you're
but it wouldn't be
blasting off
ear
mag
safe.
after mag. Yeah.
It wouldn't be ear safe if you were continually
Mm,
subjected. If you're using it daily, it would not be considered ear safe. But if you're
no.
using it once a week, whatever, it's ear safe.
Yeah.
It's still,
It's
it's
just
still.
something to consider, though, isn't it? It's getting to that point where some of the guns that we use, and I always remember back to that game we did in Hull when we were defending the fob made of Hesco's in the last game, and it just rained pyros for about 15 minutes solid.
That was like the Battle of Murbat, mate.
That was brilliant. Yeah, it
We,
was.
it was funny because we just been
Finished. Yeah, we had a talk
fourth
from, oh
Pete
God,
winner.
that's it, P. Yeah, he was there and he
Yeah.
gave an amazing talk about exactly that, wasn't it? And then
Were
it
you
felt
in
like,
the fort with me? Were you defending the fort?
yeah, yeah, you were in
Yeah.
the sort of fort. I was outside with Craig and another guy, and we were just we had like the noise cancelling ear pro, and
I didn't.
without it, it would have been a nightmare outside.
I didn't. And I was in the
Oh,
tower in bolt action.
yeah.
So we had two bolt action snipers up there, myself and another. And then we had two machine guns up there as well,
Yeah.
GPMG and a
Yeah, I was
Mini
gonna
Me.
say one was a GPMG, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm sure. Yeah, because I had on the ridge opposite, they just had loads of mortars set up and people with the tag launchers just chucking thing after everything at us. Great game
It's
though.
insane.
Bloody
Dave
loud.
just brought Dave's just brought up 12 gram mag flash. So 12 gauge mag flash. I tested 12 gauge mag flash when obviously TLD first brought out the
Um, oh god,
impact grenade, which gave you
TL20, the TLD
um
20 was it, or 40?
oh no, so yeah,
Before
so
that one,
it, after that they went and did the impact grenade, didn't they, with the
yeah,
mag
yeah, yeah,
flash.
the
But
TRMR.
before that, TLD used to do these.
Yes, I had a couple of those.
Now Compared to a mag flash, this with a red charge in it, an operational charge, is something else. That takes the wind out of you.
Yeah, but that's got to be well over 150 decibels then.
Well, the red charges are not ear safe; they're
No.
operational. The blue charges aren't ear safe either, but they're like training charges. Some sites sometimes let you use them. We used to use them for training all the time. We've got triple bangs, we've got 8 bang poles and all sorts. So they're they're just insane. But
Yeah.
we used to use a lot of blank stuff as well. But obviously that's less of a thing these days. We've kind of gone a little bit away from 2026, mate.
We have. But I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what other releases APFG come out with, and I know it's basically VFC under a different name, and Mariama as well, because I've been really impressed with both of their releases of late. Their MP9's beautiful. I've got the APC 9, and I've got an APFG Hunter, Project Hunter MCX, and I would happily get more of them. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they just stick with the MCXs. I'm really quite interested to see what Salvo do, whether they bring out an M7 as well.
Yeah.
And at what price point. That'll be the interesting thing. I mean, whatever price point it is, it's bound to be cheaper than the Toxicant one, which was just ridiculous. And there were so many things on that Toxicant that just weren't skirmish ready, really. And Salvo really took that.
Dad's bag, because he's saying about the HPA GBVs. They're not actually the future; they're kind of the past, because we used to
very
have
much
before Gas in Mag, we had GBB Escort, which was and Daytona and things, which was air-fed GBV. In fact, one of the most impressive things I've ever seen on a site was Flectarn. Do you remember the company Flectarn?
Yeah.
Their team, the Yaga something or other, they were all like Bundeswehr kitted, and they had a Shoei MG42 air-fed blowback, fucking
nice.
insane thing. We were at a site in Wales, and that thing went fucking cyclic. It was insane.
Yeah, I bet it was. Flectarn, that's where I used to get all my XL.2 BBs from.
Yes, of course, yeah. But in answer, if you want to run GBVs with a fucking air feed in it, please do carry on, do what you want to do. But for me, GBVs are about the realism, and being tethered is not part of that realism. What I use, I do regular gaming sometimes, but what I've been using GBVs for a while now is more as a replacement for a training firearm than it is as a toy. So having that tether is something I wouldn't get away with when we're doing training stuff, and it's something I wouldn't get away with on film sets and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. If it works for you, please carry on, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me as well, it was, I moved from AGs to the recoil AGs to try and get that closer feel to a real gun, and then with the VFC GBBRs, especially the recoil on those. And I know anybody who shoots real steel spends most of their life trying to mitigate recoil, and we're here trying to maximize it.
In fact, he just brought up recoil and reliability. Reliability, I kind of get in a way because you get a consistent flow of air. However, the reliability of the system is still down to the rifle itself. So if it's a reliable gas blowback rifle, it doesn't matter what gas you're feeding into it, it's reliable. What you're talking about is consistency with HPA. And I understand that, but most gas rifles these days are consistent enough to not need HPA. Recoil, again, is down to the system. It's down to the buffer weight. It's down to the recoiling mass. It's down to the energy in the system. And that doesn't change whether you're feeding it with high pressure air at 80 psi, 100 psi, whatever. That's down to the recoiling mass and the reciprocating weight from the buffer spring or the recoil spring. So you don't get increased recoil with HPA. What you do get is increased consistency on some platforms with HPA. But that difference now with most new gas blowback rifles is a lot more minimal than it would have been years ago, which is why you're seeing more people with gas in mag, and only really people doing a lot of speedy stuff, like the pistols with the lines and stuff. Not my thing, but if people want to do that, I get why they want to do that rapid fire thing, and you keep the pressure up. But you're still, at the end of the day, you're still relegated to whatever pressure you can put down the barrel with a certain weight of EB on a certain site. And no matter what the propellant is, the recoiling mass is not going to change with the pressure being put down it if you're in the same power
Yeah.
limits, etc., etc. So.
Yeah. It's gonna, and I think that's another reason as well, like you said, the consistency that more and more people are coming into the GBBR market as manufacturers. And it's very much gone like Apple and Samsung. You've got the VFC and MWS platform as are the two main ones that are being used to base other platforms off, or just complete clones of them.
We've seen a lot of clones of MWS now, especially. A
Yeah.
lot of clones of MWS.
And it's interesting though that the biggest thing that Marui are launching has gone backwards. It's their eVolts, isn't it? That's just come out, which is £800 for a bog. Well, I say bog standard. There's a lot of technical wizardry.
It reminds me of the Real Sword bolt recoil guns.
Yeah,
that the prototype years ago that pretty much became the GBLS. I am going to say this to keep Daz happy though. The other day, I was fortunate enough, or the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to actually test a new product come into her HPA market for milsims, right? And that is, I think, that the best HPA gun in the world, without a doubt. If you want to buy an HPA platform these days, your best bet is buy an MTW, right? Not my thing. It feels like a fucking dead fish.
But they're amazing for consistency.
They're built amazing because they're actually built like a real M4 as well. The receivers and everything are all built to real spec. What I tested the other week was conversion kit to turn an MTW into a milsim gun. The kit that I had in front of me and test fitted and everything was a HK 416A5. So you can now, or very soon, you'll be able to have an MTW that is a 416A5.
Nice.
Full CNC, 7075 aluminium, Cerakoted, M-lock.
Ooh, that'll be
the
nice.
barrel. Beautiful. As well as that, they're also releasing some retro lines. So there's going to be a retro model. So you'll be able to have an MTW from a retro Colt model. And further down the line, there is, how should we say, a certain monolithic design.
Oh, well, not that could be.
To the MTW platform. So those people who are into a more milsim side but want to use an MTW are going to have options to turn their MTW into something very fucking Gucci and very fucking milsim. Finally, instead of just being some stupid little 9mm carbine made up out of nowhere. So
yeah,
that'd be nice. And then later on the back, I think they got some ideas to convert the Wolverine MTW 308 into something more milsim as well. So
tasty. I mean, they are, as HPA guns go. I know a guy who's got one, and it is just amazingly consistent. But I fired it, and it like you say, it's just dead. There's
I did try it with a
nothing.
Quake stock. I did try an MTW IDA with a Quake stock on it because
That's their
Wolverine
new
was trying to
system, isn't
convert
it? Yeah.
the recoil system.
Yeah.
And that's actually got a bit of a snap to it, to be fair. What I don't like is that you see it moving.
Yeah, you see it moving. It's just exposed to all the mecha. I don't like that. Not in our weather and conditions over here. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot more GBBRs over the next 12 months. Electric guns will never be dead. They'll never go away. And as long as Marui keep pushing the innovation, it's gonna, anybody who bought an electric AEG in the last 20 years owes it to Marui. Well, 30 years actually. No, fucking Jesus, close to 40 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
My
Jesus.
first AEG, to put into context, right? Because we used to skirmish with Spring, Tokyo Marui Spring MP5s. You were rapid fire in the Spring MP5?
Yeah. I had the XM177 with the little handle under the
I had a
foregrip.
couple of those as well, the M16 and the G3. But my first AEG was a Tokyo Marui, of course, because it was when they first came out. It was an MP5A5.
Yeah.
Had no hop unit. They didn't have hop back then. First generation had no hop. So I bought that as a play around on the range toy at Gun Club, but we were actually still skirmishing with our Spring MP5s because they have more range. and more consistency as well. And even later after that, so when my second one was a Tokyo Marui M16 Vietnam, and it did have hop, it was the second release. And then when the gas blowout pistols started coming, again, we bought gas blowout pistols because they were cool, but we used to always have a spring pistol as a
Yeah.
sidearm because gas blowback wasn't reliable enough.
No, it wasn't, and I don't think a lot of the original ones of them didn't have hop either, did they? Because
No,
Maru not recently, but a few years ago, re-released the M9
Moretta.
with hop for the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, in fact, I would say that the first reliable gas blowback sidearm that was of a reasonable price, reliable, and could run even if you left it covered in mud for a bit was the KWA Glock 19.
Yeah, that was a beaut. I had one of those. The
Still got mine
KWA
here.
USPC was a little monster as well.
Yeah, I got USBC, but it's the NST version now. But my
Yeah,
original Glock 19, the metal slide, that
yeah,
cost 60 quid, is still down there.
yeah.
I didn't touch it for about 10 years.
Still
I gave it out
works.
last year. It still fucking works. It's sluggish. It doesn't feel good compared to a modern gas
Yeah,
blowback.
but then back
And
when they came out, they were they were as reliable as people see Marui gas blowback pistols
oh
being
yeah,
today.
yeah, absolutely. Dad's an answer to you. I'm 10 years older than you, mate.
Yeah, I'm 50 this year, so yeah, I've been playing airsoft
Oh,
since I was 13, 14, something like that.
you're a year and a bit older than me then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a long way till I'm 50. It's the end of this year, but
Oh, okay,
it's
so you're about a year older than me because I'll be
it's
49
coming.
by then this year.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah,
Can't get away from it. But
but
still
we've
like
known each
playing
other now.
airsoft.
We've known each other on and off since the late 90s.
We have, and I'm just remembering back to that photo in a social club in
Oh,
Birmingham when we founded UCAPU with Matt Fury King and like
and the Spectre
13
guys.
others.
Yeah, it was all the Spectre lads.
Yeah,
Ken Elston was there as well. Oh, here's another old boy joined the chat now. Section 45 Surplus. He's been around since the same time as us. He started a couple of years after me.
nice to meet me. Good evening there. Where do we play? I play mainly at 6mm these days in Rugeley and Fireball Squadron just outside Sutton Coldfield. So it's Bassett's Pole in Birmingham. They're the two sites that I tend to go to the most. I just like woodland. Plan on doing a few maybe away trips this year. That's something that I'm looking forward to doing. But yeah, that's where I sort of play these days. You do more of the training stuff though, don't you, Gaz?
Yeah, I don't play much these days. I do go to Frontier sometimes. I will get over to 6mm at some point. In fact, the lad that's in chat, Section 45 Surplus, you know him, you know him. If I said his name, you would know him. And he's been over
Okay.
to you guys a fair bit lately. I think he was over there just before Christmas.
Trying to
Jay,
work out who it is.
JP,
Oh yeah, yeah.
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 So I will go over there. Dave mentioned in Battle Lakes. I know the manager of Battle Lakes very well as well, Tony Bell, who's been around on the scene in a good while as well, but not as long as us. But
No. No, another one I'd like and I want to get over to again before it's no longer sort of there, because that's the problem with a lot of airsoft sites. I know they're getting closed down lately, but the jail just
oh yeah,
inside. That's really really good. That's a fun site to play at. It's just a bit of a trek for me. That's the only problem.
yeah. One thing I used to say to people when I worked for a large site operator that used to be good and is no longer is is people were saying, "Oh, when's the site closing down?" Because
Yeah,
and I'd say from the day we opened,
yeah. When did you
airsoft
first
site.
work for them, Gaz?
Oh God,
Did you only work
2000.
for them?
No, no. To 2009, I started
Yeah.
working for them, and I left in 2012 when I started my current employment. Um, but what was I going to say? Yeah, when people used to say to me, "Oh, when we've heard rumours the site's closing," I say, "Yeah,
Mm,
the site's been closing down since the day we opened."
yeah.
Because airsoft sites don't open up on somewhere that they just bought this massive amount of land and they're using it forever and it's forever theirs. And you're going to an abandoned woods, unused bit of land in the woods, or you're in an abandoned building or an abandoned hospital or whatever it may be. And that is never going to lay fallow forever. From the moment
Right.
the airsoft site opens there, it's already in countdown to when it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was an urban site in Derby. I remember playing there a couple of times, and that got redeveloped. As soon as they get an offer to buy the land or somebody wants to redevelop it, then it's gone, isn't it?
And
But
that's
I
the problem round
remember
by me. It's site places get developed round by me really quickly. Joe Plays Games mentioned Humber Airsoft. Both myself and Phil, I think the last
oh,
time we actually did airsoft together was actually at Humber Airsoft.
that was like 2018, I think,
Yeah,
back
and that was the
then.
last time we did airsoft together.
God, yeah. I know what. Yeah, it was more of it was a training day the last time I saw you, wasn't it, down at Gloucester
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with
Actually, we
C2R?
did do. Did we do? We both did Pilgrims too, as well, didn't
We
we?
did.
That
We
wasn't
did.
as good, was it?
No, no, that was less of the camaraderie that was present at the first one.
They opened it
Um,
up too much, is what happened.
yeah, yeah. The first one was amazing. The second one didn't have the same atmosphere. It wasn't as good, but I'm still glad I went. But yeah, it's been a while since we've actually played in a skirmish or battle sim type game together.
Yeah,
Seen you a couple of
I
times,
will.
obviously in Gloucester at the when like the last one was C2R did a day with
Yeah, which I actually didn't do any training that day. I did
no,
no instruction at all. Um,
no.
I
That's a
was
good day
there.
then.
I was there showcasing VFC stuff actually,
You were.
which made you spend more money.
It always does.
Funny if you weren't the only one. There was a few how should we say businesses there that day
Mm,
who came to me after and spent money. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're good at parting people from their cash. I'll give you that. That's for sure.
well, it is what it is, isn't it?
Worth it
But I'm
though. I've
good at
got a lovely
parting
gun
with my
rack.
own cat.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I tell
mean,
you
you've
what,
got the temptation coming through your door all the time, haven't you?
yeah, and I tell you what I've got coming next week, and my intention is I'm going to do a video on it, and then it's going to go to a new home.
Okay.
I can't buy it, right? I cannot
Okay.
buy this rifle. It's too fucking expensive, but I need
Mhm.
to look at it. The
Okay.
Akreva Type 56-1.
Oh yeah, that looks interesting for if you like AKs, which I don't. So I would never
Yeah,
look at it. But
it looks stunning, but I need to see that. I need because I know where it's been made.
it's like original
It's
part, is
Narinco.
it? Yeah.
It's Narinco. So to explain the Narinco situation, it's
Mm,
a bit weird. So if anyone remembers Real Sword Airsoft,
yeah.
they made Type 56 AGs, Type 97s, Dragunov, or the Chinese version of the Dragunov. Um, they made some beautiful guns, and they were
Mm.
all to correct dimensions. They redesigned the gearbox to fit in a Type 56 receiver, and they were the most stunning
Oh, they're
external
beautiful. Yeah.
ever. Those receivers were made in a factory that that makes parts for Norinco,
Mm.
the Chinese gun
Very, yeah.
manufacturer. The same factory that made those receivers for Real Sword also make all of the external components for E&L. However, they make the E&L receivers to normal AEG length to fit a version 3 gearbox, which comes from a company called Land Arms, which is
Mm.
a pseudo Japanese upgrade company for airsoft. And the factory and Land Arms make E and L. L being the airsoft bit, E being the
Being the,
factory from the Rinco.
yeah.
I'm not going to say the factory name because I'll probably have fucking drones flying overhead or something like that.
Yeah,
But
don't
this,
do that.
this factory is now making with the same technique they did for Real Sword. They are making a Creva. So
Yeah, 'cause
those types,
that's just come from nowhere, they have, haven't they?
they've basically taken the old GHK AK system and changed it a little bit
Mm.
for dimensional purposes to make it fit into the Type 56 because the Type 56 is actually not a standard AK at all. it's why they're so easy to spot on film. You're a film armory buff or anything like that, you should be able to spot a Type 56 in the first 3 seconds of it being on screen. It's very easy. Especially if it's a normal Type 56, but I'm talking like
Yeah,
56-1 with an underfolder, for instance, which is a little bit
yeah.
more difficult, but anyone that knows them will know straight away. But the fact that they're making that in gas blowback, I am so looking forward to. It's taking it out of the box. I know what it's going to smell and feel like, because I remember the first E&Ls coming in when they were raw. They were proper raw. They were coming straight off the Norinco factory floor, and they smelt and felt like a real rifle. And
Yeah.
for an AEG, that was insane. And they dumbed it down a little bit, and made them a little bit cheaper later on. But I've still got some of the original E&Ls up there. And I know that this Acriva is going to feel like that, but it's going to be gas blowback, so it's even
Mm.
better.
Again,
So,
it's another company bringing another GBBR to the market, which for me, I mean, I'm not an AK fan. I might have mentioned that. But anybody bringing in like the gas blowbacks, like the gas system, I know it's one of the not as popular as the Double Eagle. No, yeah, Double Eagle, because there's Double Eagle and there's another one, isn't there, that make
yeah.
Golden Eagle, I think. But there's so
The
many people
Golden
doing
Eagle is
them.
JG.
Yeah,
Golden Eagle is JG, and they make clones of the old Western Arms WOC system.
yeah. And which is funny because Jing Gong used to be really good when with their AEGs when Chinasoft first started. I remember, in fact, I
Yeah,
still got it. You can't see it, but I call it the cappuccino. It's an M733. It was 30 quid
yeah,
from
yeah,
Airsoft back in the day, and it still
yeah.
works. Had
Oh,
to
yeah.
shut the spring down because it was doing like,
RFMV, Gunner Airsoft, they're all great.
yeah,
In answer to Joe, no, neither of us. Oh, I'm not going to speak for Phil, but I wasn't
no,
military. But I've been fortunate enough to work in some circles where I worked with a lot of military guys.
yeah,
Um, but I've never been in the military myself. So
no. I just like playing with toy guns.
yeah,
That's it. I
and
make.
that's exactly where I've come from with it. I mean, I got into doing the training stuff not from being military or police or anything like that. I come in from the airsoft side. I come in from a very unique side of things.
Mm,
Like I didn't get into training because of my experience in real world. I was brought in because of my experience with replica platforms, and then I got more real side experience because of that. It's a very different way of doing things. So that's quite cool. Same with the film stuff. So a little bits of film
mm.
stuff I've done, film armory and extras and that kind of thing. Has not been because I was ever an actor, because I'm absolutely awful at acting. Um, it's purely because of my knowledge of firearms and replicas and things like that. I've been brought in to help with things. That's that.
Yeah, making sure they're more accurate. But I get one of the other things that I was looking forward to is seeing all these because I love a retro AR. Seeing more of those coming to the market, and that was the CGS one that I saw,
I
especially
saw
it
him
jumped
in
out
a
at me.
6.53s, 6.4s. I saw them all today. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they're nice. I mean, I've got the Noveski M4, so the modern version, and it's really, really nice. It shoots great. Trigger's actually not bad for an MWS alike. It's not a clone. It doesn't have the Z plate in there. Still locks back on empty. The Lancer mags, I
You
think,
don't
work
need a depth plate.
brilliantly. No, it doesn't suffer for not having one. The VFCs
No.
don't have one, and they lock back fine.
Yeah,
You know,
hard. Actually, they look like hard.
yes, they do, but at least they have the little steel tooth if it's a zinc bolt, and if it's the steel bolt, it's just all steel, and you can
Yeah.
feel the difference.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Again, when the fell runs empty, you don't need to look at the chamber.
no,
You
you can,
you
yeah, you
feel it
feel it.
straight in the shoulder. It's thump, stop. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, I'm definitely out. And the noise as well. 'Cause that last shot is even louder than a normal shot as well. So because there's no, it's not closed the chamber.
yeah,
Um,
you'll get more
what
sound
was
coming
I
off
say?
it.
You know, we said earlier about fitting steel barrels, and you were like about keeping them light, that kind of thing. If you want to have the realism of a steel barrel, but want to keep it light, a 6.53 or 7.33 is perfect.
Yeah, you got a nice short barrel then, and
Even the 14.5-inch barrel on 6.53 or 7.23 or whatever you want to build from it. I've got one there with a steel barrel, 14.5-inch, but because it's a pencil barrel,
pencil profile, isn't it? Is that, yeah? I like the 733. Not 733. What's the not the 23 because that's got the sort of the full profile,
Well,
hasn't it?
723 had 2 different barrels and 2 different uppers, depending on when it was made and what parts box they used.
Yeah,
So the early 723s had a pencil barrel.
yeah,
Later 723s had an M4-ish barrel. It was a grenade profile barrel, which
yeah,
is not
yeah.
quite the same as an M4. It's a slightly different shape, but it looks the same. If you took a photo
Well,
of it, you
yeah,
go, "That's an M4 barrel."
that's what I went for. I had to get that one when I built my M4A1 because it was the only VFC barrel that was close to an M4 profile at the time that was
Crusader,
available without going full
Crusader,
steel.
Crusader, Crusader, Crusader.
Yeah. It was also the one I could afford at the time because somebody had already extracted lots of money out of me for the
That's
base
fair.
guns.
Although, I mean, some of the Crusader barrels I bought are not much more expensive. They're only like 15 quid more expensive than buying an alloy barrel, and it's steel.
Yeah,
Like,
and for me, I've got screws and that in my back, so the weight thing is
we'll get you a Steadicam harness, and you can go all smart gun with us.
maybe. What was one of those questions? So I use C2R plate carriers, and I've got a Spiritus Micro Fight chest rig if it's really really hot. But I'm loving my Fulcrum plate carriers at the moment. I've got the Ranger
Yeah.
Green one, and I've got a multicam one. And when I went to see the guys just before Christmas, they've got loads of new stuff coming. No bloody back panels though.
No,
So
I know.
I
So yeah,
did
are
drop
yours?
drop that in there. But my favourite GBBR that I've ever used, God, I couldn't pick one, but my favorite one at the moment is the KS1. I think it's just beautiful. I've taken the
It is.
label, I've taken the torch off it. I might even put a red dot on it instead of the scope. But I love that. And my favorite sidearm at the moment is the Glock, the GHK Glocks. I know they haven't got the steel slide like your Gen 3 G17 has, but when they
Well,
come
I've
in,
got both. I have
yeah,
both.
but when they're coming in, if you get it from Taiwan with a couple of mags, it's like
200 quid.
200 quid, including shipping and
It
tax.
The GHK Glock is cheaper than a Tokyo Marine. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
And you've got
Um,
striker fire, you've got a much smoother slide because of that.
yeah.
And the trigger brake is awful, just like a real Glock.
Yes, exactly. In answer, I also use a C2R Fulcrum because I am somewhat under the thumb of C2R. And although I do have a JPC, I still have an APC. I've got a load of older plate carriers as well. But generally, I'm going to use my multicam Fulcrum these days. And I've used C2R since the original Moore. I had the
Mm,
Moore in both Wolf Grey and I had the Moore in um, multicam. I got the one in Wolf Grey because of the training stuff we are doing at the
yeah,
time. And I love the C2R plate carriers for the main reason being is the breathability on the back of the mesh on
yeah.
the plate bags. And also, as I pointed out to the man at C2R, I won't say his name, as I pointed out to him when I was going over and picking up my Fortuna jacket, one thing I love about the padded plate bags on the C2R plate carriers is I lost count the amount of times putting a JPC on with real plates in. I smacked myself on the nose to put it on. And you really appreciate C2R plate carriers if you do that more than once.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, you're dumb enough for doing it twice," which is
That sounds about
typical.
right. That
You
sounds
know
about
which one
right.
of the two I'm talking about now, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Good luck trying to find a black one, mate.
Black C2R?
Yeah,
No, they don't make them.
exactly.
Oh, they did. No, actually,
They
they
had
made some.
some years ago. I don't know.
Did you go down the corridor to the?
Yes, I did. Yeah, yeah. There are some down there. There's
But
some interesting stuff down there.
they were made specifically for um certain like non real world projects. So
Yeah,
there is a black one. I tried it on. I also had to pick, the black suit that they did for that thing.
yeah.
I had to hold the rifle that goes with it as well, the crisp
Ooh.
one,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's from set. That's a genuine one from set.
Yeah, yeah, they said when I was there that there was some other stuff there that remember our old friend who was at the first C2R Media Day and I didn't recognise who he
That's
was
so funny. That was so funny.
until I
The
got
most
home
famous
and it's
thing in
like,
the world. and
Yeah.
you and Tom
Yeah, I
a
was
month
going
later were like, "Was that really him?"
I thought he worked there, and he was the shittest barista ever, and I even said, "You can't make a cup of coffee," and it was fucking Tom Hardy. And I got back, said, "There was a guy at this thing today, and he looked just like, and his name was Tom as well, and he looked just like Tom Hardy." And then you go, "It was Tom Hardy, you dickhead." And I was like, "What?"
Well, what was funny is that I was in the hallway texting when he arrived, and I noticed him at the door because, of course, the door's locked, holding his
Yeah,
little dog in his hand like that, and I was like, "Oh, fuck," because I knew who it was. So I went back into the man, and I was like, "Tom's at the door." And he goes, "Well, let him in then."
yeah.
And I go, "Yeah, that's normal, I suppose." Do you know what I mean?
He was so
Yeah.
down to earth, though, wasn't he? He just
Well,
sat there, quiet as
he had no idea who any of us were either. Because
yeah,
what you got to remember is the context of where we were and who we were with at the time.
yeah,
He didn't know who he was talking to, although he's
yeah,
connected. He doesn't know who's who. So when I let him in, I was like, "All right, Tommy, let him in, mate." Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? He goes, "Oh, cheers." You know, he's just normal. He's absolutely normal. He's like that all day. So I understand where you and the other Tom were actually not quite clicking because it wasn't like being around someone that's super famous. He was just one of the dudes.
Yeah, he was, and he was really good about it as well. Because I'll never forget telling him he was shit at making a cup of coffee, and I think Ben ended up taking over.
No, he
Um,
said no. What he did, he's behind the coffee bar and he's
yeah,
fucking turned on all these knobs, and he just went, "Fuck it, I'm having tea," and put the kettle on instead.
God, yeah. Well, I've been able to dine out on that for ages. So, but
That was, yeah, it was fucking cool. Did you notice, by the way? So the little dog he had with him was a rescue. He was just like
yeah,
he took it out the kennels for the weekend to look after it. Well, he ended
left
up
with a
keeping
new
it,
lead.
and he left with a new lead and collar. The next interview you saw on TV, he's still holding a little dog, and he's got that custom
Yeah,
collar and lead. I was
yeah,
like, "Fuck, you made that the day we were there."
yeah. I mean, that's what I mean, the guys at C2R are really good. They love what they do. There's
They
real
do.
passion there, and that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to for this year. All of the things that they've got coming, especially, and I understand fully why they've done it. The C2R USA. It's a
Yeah.
huge market, especially for what they do.
I
And
don't
I
think it's not SHOT Show yet, mate.
sorry,
Not SHOT Show yet.
no, but they've got C2R USA all over
Oh,
Instagram.
mate. Okay. I haven't checked Instagram. I was just making sure because
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything that they're doing, but they've got C2R USA as on Instagram.
yeah. No, it's
Uh,
David, not open to the public. It's a private unit. I did promise the guys actually when I was over there. I think it was September. I went over, and they were like, "Oh, you haven't been over in ages." It's like because I don't just wander over to H and walk into your office. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want
yeah,
me to come over, then send me a text or whatever. And he's like,
yeah,
"Oh, you should come in more often." I was like, "All right, well, when I get past the silly season, I'll come back over then." So I will make more of an effort to go in more than once a year this year.
yeah. Yeah, I tried to do it a couple of times last year, but again, it's like you. I'm not just going to rock up and say I'm here. It's sort of
Yeah,
like that we were talking about it, and I ended up there. But yeah, they are great guys. They've got some really good ideas on what tactical kit should be like, and they
yeah,
go and try it, and they are not afraid to. If it doesn't work, they'll reiterate it into a different format. They'll try different materials. They've always, yeah, always gone that extra mile, I think. And even for us airsofters, they don't look down their noses at us, which a lot of the bigger gear companies always. I mean, even Warrior Assault Systems always used to look down their nose at airsofters, although probably 80% of their business was airsofters. They were never really happy about it. But C2R have been great.
yeah. Well,
Um,
funny story actually. Last time I spoke to Warrior at all, because I haven't been going to IWA for the last 10 years. I did go this year, but only for one day. But the last time I went there was after the first season of SAS Who Dares Wins, the TV
oh
show
yeah, yeah.
with Ant Middleton. And Ant was actually on the stand with Warrior. I was chatting to him on the stand. I didn't go there to see Warrior. I
Mm,
saw Ant and we because me and I knew some people that he knew as well. So we ended up chatting. And we were chatting for an hour or whatever it was, and we sort of moved away from the stand a little bit. And I was with my ex-partner at the time, so she asked for his autograph, so I got his autograph for her because he'd just been on the show. And one of my mates was actually applying for second season as well. And then a couple of days later, or 4 days later, I was in Nuremberg Airport about to fly home, and I was sat with, like, Bill and Nigel from
Cool, blimey.
AA,
Yeah, yeah.
um, Kelly, um, the guy from, what was the brand? He designed the Aku Pilgrim, but he had his own brand. I've got his patch somewhere. Um, this is his patch. Is it First Tactical or something like that?
Oh God.
He's an ex-H guy that does his own, like, equipment and stuff, and he was with us as well. I don't know how he ended up joining us. And anyway, like from across the like cafe, the food area in
Yeah,
Nuremberg Airport, I heard my name get shouted. I turned round, and it was Ant. Now, bear in mind, I didn't know him before meeting him a few days before.
yeah.
I said my name once. Days later, I
He
mean, this is
remembered it.
he remembered my name and recognised me from the back and
That's the sort
shouted
of guy
at
you
me.
don't want to piss off. If he can remember your name and recognise you from the back, you're
I was
fucked
like,
if you piss him
fucking
off.
yeah, play, dude. And he was like, "You're right." I said, "Yeah, yeah, come up." So I waved him over, and at this point, and you knew Kelly. Kelly's having kittens. She's like, "That's Ant Middleton." I was like, "Yeah, he's cool. Don't worry." And then she's on a group chat on Facebook, they're friends, and he's sat down next to me, directly opposite Kelly, and she's proper fangirling, which is unusual because she's normally pretty chill.
Mm.
Back then, she was pretty chill, and she's proper fangirling, and like we made it obvious. Do you know what I mean? You got it, won't you? So,
Oh
and he
yeah.
actually took her phone off her, went on her Facebook chat group that she was chatting in, and put a voice message in the chat group,
Oh wow.
which is cool as fuck, and she's just dying opposite us. It's so funny.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool.
But he was super down to earth. He was super chill. Obviously, he wasn't into his politics as like he is now.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, as a dude and as an ex geezer, he was a really cool guy. So
See, if I'd
funny how
recognised Tom Hardy, I'd have been a fangirl as well, but I just didn't recognise him
fucking bad.
for
It was the
about
fact he knew
12
that you were
hours.
fucking dead. He was so mate, the worst bit is he was in our group the whole fucking day.
All right, I know.
He was sat opposite you for most of the day, chatting, and his voice is pretty recognisable as well.
There's that disconnect there. As I said to you, and I think to other people, it's like, who expects Tom Hardy, A-list celebrity, to be in an industrial unit in Hereford on a Saturday morning? Just it didn't make sense that he was there until obviously I got to know the guys from C2R and understood. And now it'd be like, oh, it's Tom Hardy. But then it was like, he looks just like him. But anyway,
Well,
yeah.
now he's. I mean, I've seen him since. Actually, one of the times I went over to C2R, he wasn't at C2R. He was at his own unit, not far away, because
Mm.
I popped around there to see someone else, and he was actually rolling around on the floor in his own unit because he's into his BJJ, isn't he? So
Yeah. He's got his black belt in it. He's won like championships and stuff, hasn't he? In that.
he's a tough dude. He's a genuinely tough dude.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't pick a fight with him. Not anymore.
If,
Not, and I wouldn't insult his coffee making skills again either.
no, if it ever comes out, just how sorted that guy is in many different ways, I think he will be looked at even more revered than he
Mm.
already is.
Well, we had
'Cause,
this discussion after you revealed it was him last time and how he came to be there, and it was interesting, very
yeah,
interesting.
we all remember the original film from the 80s with Lewis Collins.
Oh God, yes.
And
In fact, I watched that the other day.
mate, it's on Amazon, isn't it? I saw it the
I
other
don't know
day.
if it was on, but I can't remember where I watched it. But you got that classic run down the hallway. Come on, man, move your ass.
Because I've been ill. I'm going to own up to something really embarrassing now, and I'm sure it's going to light the chat up a little bit. I've been watching Ultimate Force.
I mean, that's like a guilty pleasure. I think we all
It is.
probably have at some point.
And what I've realised, like rewatching it, because usually if I watch an episode, it's because it pops up on YouTube as a full episode, and I just sit and watch it. But like, it's on Amazon Prime at the moment, the whole 4 seasons. And when you watch the 4 seasons through, you realise you can see when Chris Ryan leaves the show. And I don't mean when he leaves the acting, because he leaves the acting after the first season,
Yeah,
but when he parts ways with his creativeness in the show. Because at the end of season 2, it goes from like a plausible but slightly silly caricature of regiment life to being fucking ridiculous.
yeah.
Like in one episode, it just turns really badly. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, that's exactly when Chris Ryan left the show. And obviously later on, he wrote Strike Back and whatever as well.
Mm.
But yeah, interesting to see, because I've never really watched it through like that, to see that it's like a really stark, oh my God, the fucking guy who actually knows what he's talking about is gone.
Yeah. I think that's, I know we've gone completely off what we said we were going to talk about, but that's one of the things that I liked about SEAL Team. And I know it's American, it's cheesy, and it was also ridiculous until it went on to Paramount Plus that bloody SEALs who never swore ever, and then all of a sudden they were swearing. But watching their kit evolve over the seasons as well, and being pretty close, I guess, to what we could see as public, the real
Yeah.
SEALs were using.
Well, they were
Um,
actually picking up weapons wise, really like quicker than they should have been, really.
yeah,
And I haven't seen some of the last season stuff, but like they were changing weapon systems as the SEALs were
yeah,
changing weapon systems.
exactly. I mean, they had the Maxim Defense little 7.62 by 39 caliber
And the best the N4.
PDWs. They had the N4s. You know, when they went from the original 416s to like the A5s, or the Geisley rails on them from the quad rails.
Yeah, the
Um,
roll bars as well.
Watching
Yeah.
their kit evolve, you know, microfight chest rigs, the JPCs, and everything.
No, when SEAL Team, we can answer Dave in a second.
Mm.
When I saw SEAL Team start and Six started at the same time, do you remember that show Six?
Six was, I think, better actually.
I actually preferred it in some ways. It was
Yeah,
less touchy-feely. Um, I actually preferred the unit to all of them. The unit was
I
great.
don't know. The unit was, yeah, it was good, but it should have. I think it was better when it was more action than
Yeah,
the
no,
other
I agree.
side.
I agree with that. But when SEAL Team first started, the first thing I noticed in the first 3 episodes of SEAL Team, well, A was the fact that they were using a DP dog, because obviously at the time I had Caro,
Mm.
um, and it was nice to see a Malinois on a TV show like that. You don't see it very often. But the first thing I saw, because of at that time was when I was starting to get into all of the training stuff, I was doing more
Yeah,
and more of
yeah,
that, was I was seeing tactics on a TV show that weren't even allowed to be talked about by people who are doing that real world in the UK at least. So in the
yeah,
States, yeah, it's probably a little bit behind. But over here, the tactics they were showing were like up to date, like
yeah,
non-verbal communication stuff on doorways, that kind of thing was like all state of the art current
yeah.
tactics. I was like, fuck, they're showing this on a TV show. This is really good. They must have some good guys behind it. And then obviously I learned about Tyler Gray and
Mm.
everybody else that was behind it. Um, Matt Bissonette was another one that was behind it as well.
I just think it was really good. I liked how they did it. And say what you will about Chris Pratt, but I think he really was good in the Terminal List.
No, he was.
But Jack Carr's ex teams, isn't he? The guy who wrote it.
Yeah. But again, Chris Pratt's actually a better actor than people give him credit.
Oh
What I'm
yeah,
going to do
and his
is I'm,
manipulation, his weapon manipulation
oh,
skills
it's
were
great.
really
He's
good.
good in whatever he's in. He was typecast into funny guy for a long time, but now
Mm,
I think he's branching out. I'm going to let you answer, Dave, as to
okay.
your experience. I'm going to run to the gents and come back, and I'll answer Dave.
Okay, so I got into airsoft when I was still in high school. I was 12, and I used to buy the kit guns from Bagnall's Models in Stafford, which was about 8 miles from where I lived. and I used to build them and then sell them at school, and we'd have gunfights in the classrooms at lunchtime until I got caught by the deputy head. And that's when I first got told off for selling guns. And then I think my first proper game was in the mid-90s at Rebel Troop in Reading, and that was with my, then it was brand new, it just been released, the Marui M4A1. I had that and a Maruzen P99 gas blowback pistol. And I'll never forget one of the first kills I got. I was hiding in a foxhole at Rebel Troop Woodlands. Guy jumped over the foxhole. I panicked and just emptied the mag out of my P99, copped him right across the groin as he was like mid leap. He just didn't even land on his feet. He landed as a fetus on the other side. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was like one of my first kills in airsoft. And I was like, I thought, I hope he's got kids because he's never having them after that. So that was early 90s, mid 90s for my first proper game. But yeah, I've been building and selling airsoft guns and into them since. A lot of people probably won't remember battle orders, but that was where I got one of my first gas blowback guns. It might have been HFC Glock 17 or something like that for 60 quid from battle orders. It lasted 2 mags and then died. But yeah, that's how I got into it. And I've always liked guns, not from a weirdy point. I just always thought of the design, the technical skill that's gone into it, how people have addressed problems and the evolution of them to where they're at. And I like shooting as well. I like shooting. So that's where I come from. So my first experience was better than the guy who jumped over me. But it was still, it was good. Yeah. How about you?
So I started May 1990. I was in high school. I was lent a KHC Super 745 Smith & Wesson recoil action Springer by a friend. So you had to push the slide forward and it locked. You pulled the trigger and it leave it out and lob the slide backwards to the rear. I was lent that and it had a stick magazine. And one of my other mates from school had started going to a gun club, which is behind a model shop in my local town, where they used to do like a range night on a Wednesday and a Friday, I think it was. I was avidly into skateboarding at the time, so I only did one night because I was skating the other night. And we used to do like you went to gun club. It was quite a small room at the back of this gun club. It was target shooting, and then at the end of the night, like we would have a little skirmish. It was all springers back then. We create a little rat run around this like back area. Then a little bit later, we started doing our own gaming in an abandoned fire engine factory when we weren't at gun club, which is at the end of my road, and we never had any problems. Like if the police came, they're like, "Don't break shit."
Yeah, I remember those days.
And then the gun club started organising once a month games at this farm in another town. And we used to all go there and do woodland skirmish for the first ever time. And that was how it all started, really. And then that was all springers, and then the AGs started coming and more and more. But for the longest time, all airsofting was all done not on organised sites. Usually on council land, where you had to like ring the council and say, "Can we use this woodland?" And you had to put notices up around the edge of the woodland saying, "We're using it today, not real guns." This and the other. Public didn't care. We had a local newspaper would do recruitment stuff for us on the front page. Local police, if the local police caught kids messing around with airsoft guns in the street, they would direct them to us to come to like our Sunday events.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, this is all done on public land at the time.
Yeah, different times though, innit?
Yeah, it was all done with the agreement of councils and police and this, that, and the other. But it was all done on public land. We didn't rent a site. We just, designate, like, asked if we could use a certain woodland, and the council would say yes or no. Sometimes we listened. Sometimes we went anyway. Because sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness and it's permission, or it was back in those days. But the one thing we always did was you always ran the police and said where we were going to be.
Yeah.
So even if we didn't have permission to be somewhere, they knew that if they saw guns, it was going to be us. And it just grew from there. And then in the sort of mid-90s, about 95, 96, I think it was, 95, Ken Elston from Fireball Squadron
Mm.
reached out to our advert, and we used to have an advert in Gunmart.
Good
They
old
reached out,
Gunmart. My God, yeah.
yeah, and we were using a woodland, a private woodland at this point, up on the outskirts of the city. The farmer allowed us to use it, and Ken and his crew used to come and play at our site. And their plan was they were going to be opening this site in near Birmingham, Sutton Coldfield. And
Yeah.
when they opened it, that was Fireball Squadron.
Fireball in 1998.
Yeah, we were there on the first day, and we were the core few of us were granted honorary lifetime membership. Funny enough, um,
Mm.
so myself and Jay, who's in the chat, he's there right there now, section 45.
Yeah.
We were granted by Ken and what was his friend, Mikey.
Mikey,
Ken
yeah,
and
he
Mikey.
went on to be in the police.
He did. They granted us honorary lifetime membership, and then when they opened the Sandvik factory,
Oh, that was
Fireball area.
brilliant.
Yeah, I had my thumb broken there by a guy called Graham from up north with an
Sore point at the
XM177.
moment.
Oh dear. Oh, that was clear knowing.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Yeah.
Graham? He was one of the
Yeah,
Northerners.
yeah, yeah. I remember Graham. Silver hair, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
grey.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sort of shoulder length hair.
yeah.
Tall, skinny guy. Yeah, I remember
Well,
Graham.
I was running across the top corridor in Sandvik with a G3 indoor because you can search staircases and corridors with a G3. You just have to be good at doing it.
Yeah,
When you work with a long rifle, using a short rifle is very easy. When
yeah.
people are using an MP5, they go, "Oh, I need to go down to my pistol." It's like, this is stupid. I've done this with a G3 or I fell. I was running down the corridor with a G3 and I ran straight into Graham. And he was older than me, he was a bigger dude than me. And I had Northern Ireland gloves on, but what I didn't realize when we ran into each other, we kind of just looked at each other. I went to react and try and pull the G3 up because, of course, it's
Yeah.
me and Vic. And he didn't know, but his XM177's muzzle was rested against my thumb, and he fired 2 rounds at
Oh,
muzzle break distance because obviously the barrel doesn't fit on the
yeah.
muzzle break. So it had an inch or so to accelerate, and it broke my thumb.
Ow. Yeah, because it was chronos weren't really a thing then. You didn't have to chrono your gun before you played. You
No,
just
no,
turned
not at
up.
all. It's only when Classic Army came out that they were young. Do you
Mm.
remember Beardy Side that used to go there as well from Spectre?
Vaguely, yes.
He looked like a farmer, really scruffy, big beard. He used to hang around with Yams and everybody. He was one of their main guys for Spectre. And he used to go to Bible when he first started. And he was like, "Oh, I was ex-Power, I was ex-SAS, and this and the other."
Oh, I mean, I vaguely remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So going back
Yeah.
to the late 90s is
Well,
difficult at
I,
times.
we always used to take a piss out of him for claiming he was this, that, and the other. I was working with a guy in 2005 who was
Yeah.
ex-regiment and had retired and he was still working on camp. And the one day we'd finished a night shift, or we actually no, we started a night shift. And he goes, "Oh, any chance you can give me a hand tomorrow? My mate imports all these Chinese airsoft guns. He's got a container load, and I told him that you're into airsoft, and he wants to come and help sort them out because he sells them to all the retailers. This is in the China soft revolution, right?
Yeah. God, so happy days.
2005. So you're buying a G3 for 60 quid from Jingong, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so as we're on shift all night, I'm talking to him and he's telling me about this guy. And I was like, "Is his name Sai?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, that's right. Sai, yeah, big Sai." I was like, "I fucking know him." And the worst it was is that the reason why there had been a disconnect is that the guy I was working with was like, "Oh, he's an ex-H guy that like he's been out for a while and he's obviously got into airsoft and this that, and the other." So it hadn't connected to this guy we thought was a Walt,
Wasn't.
genuinely XH
Oh,
para. I felt so fucking bad.
I'm not surprised. But yeah, I mean, it was. I miss sometimes the earlier airsoft days. It was a lot less stressful, that's for sure. A lot less
Because
drama.
yeah, because people didn't bring people to a game they thought were going to cause them problems because
You
it
wouldn't get
was just
invited to another one.
exactly, yeah, it was all invite, and that's why back 10 years ago when we were actually running like normal airsoft events for a while, we did it as an invite only thing. Like you could be invited, and then after a few events of you doing it, you could invite someone else. But if they fucked up in their first few events, not just they got removed, but you got removed too. They were on your ticket for 3 events or so, and it worked so well, as though it built the group of players slower than it would normally. It meant we didn't have to actively marshal.
Yeah, which
We
is
could do
great.
PCB games in the most awesome venues and not have to marshal because everyone was there for the right reason.
Yeah, I think that's what worked to that Pilgrim's Bandit game we did, the first one.
And John based that upon what we did. Like the invite system was based upon what we did at the time.
Yeah, that was cool because there was so many people there that all knew each other, but not met. Like,
it was all like connections to connections, and and then we all got in one group. It's like, hey, we all get along. It's fucking mad.
Yeah, it was really good. I'd like to see more of that. I think in this year that would be great. Smaller games.
Could host that.
I think that'd be great. I mean, I'd love to do gas blowback only days as well.
Yeah,
I could write some good games for that at 6 mil if I put my mind to it. Fireball would still be good for that. It's small enough to make it a really good site for doing limited ammo, type specific weaponry.
I should go.
I haven't been there since sort of October, I don't think. But
were you on the board? Were you on the board for Fireball?
When Ken retired, I was one of the 5 people that he handed the site over to run. So I helped run it for a bit. Then I stepped down because I was doing the UCAPU stuff. So one of the rules of UCAPU, obviously, as you remember, was you couldn't be involved in a site or industry.
Which is why I couldn't do UCAPU.
Yeah. If you had a position in UCAPU, you had to be completely independent.
Yeah.
Then after I did the chairman's stint at UCAPU, which was completely thankless. The number of people who say, "Oh, you don't represent me," but they'd ring you the second they got a gun seized by Border Force. Go, can you help? Can you get my gun released? Like, are you a member? What's your membership number? Oh, I'm not a member. Well, no. I will for you this time, but will you take out a membership because we represent our members, and pretty sure you said you don't. I don't represent you, so
yeah.
Lost my train of thought there now, but then I did go back onto the management team for a bit. So yeah, I've always had a strong link and involvement with Fireball since it opened.
Martin's still there?
Martin's not the CEO anymore. No, I think he stepped down about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's Pete Bates, who does the Airsoft Project photography. Paul still runs it, who you know, and Chris Ray are the 3 owners. So there's always been 3 sort of owners, so that there's no one vote.
Yeah, no one involved.
Yeah. But yeah.
Hang on, Darren's just down the road from 6 mil. We need to meet Darren.
Well, I'll be at 6 mil on Sunday. I won't be playing, but I'm going to go along.
I need a photo because Darren has been a superstar following me since the very beginning, and I've cost him almost as much as I've cost you the last couple of years.
Jesus, I dread to think how much you've spent then, Darren, because I know how much I've spent.
Well, it's really bad. He went and bought a KS1 from HPA, because normally I say, HPA usually got what I'm reviewing. They usually do have what I'm reviewing.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it was the one occasion where HPA didn't buy them from us. It's like, oh goodness. But yeah, it's always when I do a review, I try and let people know somewhere that I know's got them, and not just that they got them, but they've got the spec that I'm reviewing as well, because I'm reviewing the UK distributor spec with a built-in MPass, this, that, and the other. Like, I know it's got steel trigger group. I know if it's going to have a steel bolt carrier. And I know it's part of a serial range that I've seen and inspected. So that's why I usually recommend, like, whether it be HPA or Combat South or Crawley or JD or whoever, SOCOM Tactical or whatever. But on that occasion, it was funny because the guy from HPA, Chris, he's a fantastic dude. He's a mate. He'd actually ordered some from Asia,
So got European spec ones.
Yeah, he we didn't have a arrival date, so he jumped on some from Asia and got them in quite early. As it happened, ours arrived earlier anyway, but like he forgot that he hadn't actually ordered any with us.
Oops.
So I did find it funny, but it's all good. As long as you get Darren what you want and you're happy with it, it matters not to me. This is why I wear this on this channel, because this channel is about the airsoft and the guns and, bringing you the information and not who I am in the industry. Although if someone really knows me in the industry, they're going to recognise me by my eyes. To be fair, I've been around too long, or my voice. So we've got Tom Wire is the owner of a felt and an L403 because of me. Oh well, that's awesome. That'll cost you money as well. Join the club. This is like the support club for skin.
Yeah. This is the GBBR help group, GBBR Anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
so we all know each other, so it's not that anonymous.
Yeah, and I think it's worth. I think before we sort of tail things off or whatever, it's worth talking about what keeps both of us two at VFC, because it's something we haven't spoke about yet, and it's probably something that these guys are actually interested in. The Gaz paycheck group. It doesn't go into my paycheck, unfortunately, but yeah.
Between you and Phil, I'm broke. Well, between Gaz and me, I'm broke. So
yeah, and I'm no better off. Don't worry about it. I still do multiple jobs, so. And I haven't bought anything for a while. The last thing I bought was the L403. I haven't bought an AKSU yet.
See, I won't be getting one of those. I'm trying to think. Did I get the MP9 after that or before it? I can't remember.
Oh, that would have been after. It would have been after.
Yeah. So because I said I wasn't going to buy any more guns last year, and then I ended up getting the Glocks as well.
That wasn't my fault.
No, that wasn't your. Well, it was, because you were the one who got me onto the GHK Glocks in the first place because of the striker fires.
Our open day, that was.
Yeah. And that's true. Dave's right. There is a no balls policy. So if somebody says they're interested in a gun that somebody's selling and they don't buy it, then everybody just starts telling them they've got no balls until they actually just buy it.
Yeah.
It works really well if you're selling something. You just go no balls, and you got a sale pretty much by the end of the day. And it's normally Dave.
Dave there, he has a point, because quite often he buys the stuff that I'm actually getting rid of in my personal collection off me. So he spends a fair bit with me as well. So, but not in a different way. He hasn't bought things because of me. He's bought things from me because I've been trying to pay for a holiday to Spain.
Yeah, that's the only reason I sold so many guns recently, is to fund my kayaking hobby. But otherwise, I'd still have more than I've got. But I'm quite happy with the selection I've got now. There'll always be more I want. But yeah, so we were going to say why we're with VFC platform, weren't we? I think that was the thing. So why don't you kick us off?
For me, I was in the GHK platform pretty deep, and VFC did the G3. Which I was like whinging at WE for a G3 for years. And I did whinge at Vega at VFC about it as well, to be fair, about 10 years ago. Because me and him had a conversation in a meeting about 10 years ago to improve the VFC. Me and the tech from work back then had an idea of how to make the VFC M4 system work better. And I literally had a game of Chinese whispers around the table with VFC. Like, I was speaking English to the person next to me, who was speaking Cantonese to the person next to him, who was translating it into Mandarin for Vega, and then it had to come back around the table, and we were drawing on the table and all sorts. It was literal Chinese whispers. But that's the improvements that went into V2 were actually coming from that conversation, which is interesting. But then they did the G3 anyway. That was incredible, and it made me think, wow, maybe I need to look at more. And then they just started. Basically, Vega went down the what does Gaz want list.
Well, can you add the Ruger Mini 14 onto it, just in case he starts doing it again?
Thing is, back then, he didn't have the Gaz want list. He just, right. If you spot his releases, you can see what film he's been watching.
Oh, yeah.
Except I've since found out it's not necessarily him now.
Oh, so
It's
he's listening to other people. So
no, he's not designing a lot of the gas blowbacks now.
okay.
It's a guy called Ryan who does a lot of the gas blowbacks.
He's the guy in a lot of the launch videos now, isn't he?
Yes, exactly, yeah. So he's the designer now for the GVRs. And I had a really good conversation with him in March, hence the L403.
Well, can you have a word with him about the Ruger Mini 14, preferably with the chrome folding stock and chrome receiver and
I would,
barrel,
but it's
satin
no point.
barrel?
It's actually no point.
Send him a box set of the A-Team.
No, it's no point me giving him anything that you want that's not AR-15 based because you're not going to buy it.
Well, I'll buy that.
I would like a Ruger Mini 14 just for the and like you said,
I know
it would
there
have
is
to
is it Double Eagle? Double Eagle have done a AEG one,
yeah.
and I think somebody's done a 1022 based one.
The Beaver Arms.
Yeah,
It's
which
done a gas blowback one.
it looks nice, but it's just the wrong size mags. If they'd done it off the VFC system, I would have been on that like a tramp on chips.
And the worst bit is the Viva one, they've done the stainless with the wood
Yes,
side folding stock, the correct spec for the
absolutely, with the correct
Mini
flash
14
hider and
real.
everything, and then they got a little banana mag.
Yeah. Another film that I remember really distinctly seeing the Mini 14s in was Natural Born Killers as well. Prison Guards have them in Natural
Oh,
Born Killers.
yeah, God, that's going back a ways. I'd forgotten about that film. Good film. Didn't get the
Robert Downey, see, Robert Downey Jr. was actually really good in that. But Tommy Lee Jones, I didn't like in it.
okay. I think he can be a little bit Marmite sometimes, but he's normally on the right side of that equation, though. Tommy Lee,
Yeah.
but to me, I think one of his best performances was his hammiest one in Under Siege 2.
Yeah, no, I
No, Under
agree.
Siege, sorry, Under Siege. It was just
And Cole
brilliant.
Meany was in that as well. And Cole Meany is always nice to see in a film as well.
Yeah. You still there?
No?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Just
There we go.
disappeared for a second.
So yeah, with VFC, the appeal to me for VFC is that they've now matured their system to a point where there's very few issues. The
Mm,
PPSH was a little bit sketchy. There were a couple of issues with PPSH that maybe they could have like developed a bit more, but it's a PPSH. It's going to have some quirks to it. But generally speaking, if a VFC rifle comes out now, you know that there's not going to be anything on it that's really, really bad or unfixable or unworkable. It might have some little foibles initially, but it's inevitable when you're bringing six rifles to market a year.
yeah. And that's
So,
what really did it for me. It was the trigger was just so much nicer than the Maruis that I was used to. I'll bring the MP9 on Sunday. You can have a look at it. And just the sheer choice, even just from the ARs, which is where I was looking mostly, but the sheer choice of ARs that you could get, and the fact that they kept bringing out new ones. And Maru was like, okay, here's Mark 16. Our new release is a Mark 16 but black. Or here's a Mark 18, like the mod one, and we're not going to
yeah,
release another one now ever.
yeah.
But VFC were constantly, and they were getting the licenses
They
as well, like the BCM and
Well, BCM Air is owned by VFC, but what's interesting is VFC are doing what WE did 15 years ago, and that's release
mm,
new models all the time. I'm just going to answer Russ here. Um, he wants our opinions on Vorsk GBBs.
you don't. I
Um,
just no.
I'm going to say they have a place, right? And that place
The bin.
is like a WE Glock 17, right? WE Glock 17s will run, and they'll run fine as a
Mm,
holster sidearm. You pull out occasionally. There's nothing wrong with a WE Glock 17. Preferably the Gen 3 because they had the better mag release. The Gen 4 mag releases are a little bit out of spec. But the Vorsk stuff will run okay. I'm talking the rifles, pistols wank. No
mm,
excuse for pistols whatsoever. You don't need to buy a Vorsk pistol when WE exists. That's simple. Right, buy WE. Um, I would even maybe suggest SRC is better than Vorsk these days. When it comes to like their the VMP2 and the VMP1 or whatever, they're cheap. They got parts availability in the market. They got mags availability in the market. They're a local brand. If someone's just getting into GBBRs and they want to see what a GBBR's like, it's not a bad way of. I'd rather someone buy that than buy a Golden Eagle copy of a Western Arms M4, have a really bad experience and go, GBBR's a wank. I'd
Yeah.
rather than buy a Vorsk and go, okay, it's not the best, but like at least it runs and I can get parts for
Yeah,
it.
if
And
it
it's something
piques
again.
their interest enough that they go, right, I want to explore this further.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
I reckon their next step would probably be an MWS, which would cement their belief in GBBRs. And then you get people, and it might sound really bad, but I don't want it to, that once you've done MWSs, that's when I see people, you don't see people generally going VFC first. They
No,
sort
you
of
don't.
have played with gas blowbacks beforehand and then
Yeah,
migrated or just moved over to the VFC platform because they aren't necessarily as plug and play as MWS. So they are a
I
little
think it's
bit more,
accessibility. I think it's accessibility as much as
yeah,
anything. You see like Salvo or TM everywhere you go, and I
yes,
think a lot of that comes down to it. And also the aftermarket for MWS. People see the aftermarket for MWS from whether it be Jaeger or
just
Waldo
huge, isn't it?
or Unicorn or Guns Modify or whatever. It's huge. The thing is that a VFC, if anything, is going to overhop out the box rather than a
Mm.
Tokyo Marine, which is going to underhop. So the reason why there are so many hot mods around for the MWS before there were for VFC is because if you wanted to lift anything over a 2.8, you had to
Yeah,
change
you
the
had to
hop.
mess with the hop, didn't you? Right, I'll be back in
You
a
had to
second. I
change
just
the
need to get a
hop.
cable for my phone or it's going to die.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, you had to change the hop arm for a MWS to run. So you see more necessity in upgrades, whereas VFC, it's not so much the case. Um, I've got nothing against the Vorsk rifles as such. If they're an entry gateway into GBs, it's not going to put people off because there were some
Oh.
entries into GBs that could put people off. SRC,
Yeah, quite.
KJ worked M4.
There's quite a few really bad ones.
Yeah, there were. There were some very bad ones, especially going back 10, 15 years ago. There were some really, really bad ones. Um, I think these days, though, interestingly, let Phil go and do his thing. AEGs used to be the standard, and I think now AEGs are the gateway into airsoft. And then once so people tend to enter airsoft in this low to mid range of product. And then when they want to spend more money, they're spending in the mid to higher range of product. They either go to an MTW or they go to a gas blowback rifle. And I think that's where airsoft diverges off in two different directions. Is when people get past that initial stage and want to spend a bit more money, they, instead of spending traditionally, people would spend more money on an AEG, on a high end AEG.
Mm.
Now they go into either MTW or gas blowback rifle. And I think we're seeing that more and more, even in other markets. Asia was always high end UV. You won't see HPA in Hong Kong. You don't see HPA in Taiwan. It's
No.
not a thing. You don't see HPA in Japan either. They use gas blowback. You see more HPA in the US and in Europe. But even US and Europe, you see now that GBRs are replacing NGRSs. Yeah, they're replacing systemic PCWs. They're replacing the KWA higher end stuff and the Crytax and things like that that used to get tuned by people like Umbrella Armory. You're just seeing people go more GB on it that way. Whereas why no GB in Asia? Because people don't like them. They want they go for the realism. Airsoft is very different. It's not a competition so much in Asia as it is here. It's a game. It's a survival game. It's
Mm.
based on military and police interactions, and they play to that ethos. And the UK's always traditionally had that as well. And I think it's only in the last 10 years it's losing it a little bit. Airsoft was never about winning. Airsoft was always about the experience.
Yeah.
It's only in the last 10 years you're seeing more competitive side of Airsoft, and that's why you're seeing more HPA. Whereas in Asia, that it's very much about the experience.
Yeah. I think Jedi Knights there, the shift to GBBR, hoping we continue to see a wider variety coming in. I think we
I think, yeah,
many more companies bring. I think it's a certainty, and like you said,
yeah,
guys, AEGs are the gateway into airsoft,
they're they're
and then
dying.
I mean, Maru will keep them going.
They'll keep them going for the domestic market.
Yeah,
That's all it'll be. I'm hoping the new eVolt system will actually bring the much needed improvements to the M4 NGRS platform, because the Tokyo Marine M4 NGRS platform is shit. It always has been shit, and I've had loads of them. And
I've
I,
still got
you know,
one. It locks up all the time.
yeah, they lock up all the time. You have to put a MOSFET in. And the M series MOSFET that they put in the MP5 transformed the NGRS platform. And I'm
Mm,
hoping that the eVolt does that for the NGRS platform as well. But honestly, I think that mid to high range AGs we're going to see disappear are certainly very, very much diminished. I mean, from inside the industry, we're already seeing it go. Go and have a look around on websites and see what's selling in the UK right now, AG wise. Go and have a look in Asian websites. Go on their homepage and tell me these big Asian websites, whether
mm,
it be WGC or eHobby or Bang Bang or Red Wolf or Action Airsoft or Octagon. How many of those have a load of AEGs on the homepage? No,
no.
you don't see it. They're all GBRs on the homepage, and it's because the AEGs just aren't selling in that mid to higher range, which is the bit that people want to ship boxes on.
Yeah.
You can sell 140 quid AEGs all day long to a site as a rental gun or whatever. But even sites we're starting to see use MTWs as rental guns now.
People expect more, don't they? I think that's one of the things as well. People who are
And
coming
look at
into
that.
airsoft are expecting more for what they get. The days of having a 15-year-old M4 that's held together with gaffer tape as the rental gun and you'd like it or lump it are definitely gone. But yeah, the AEGs, and there's a lot more airsoft companies trying to get into that training side as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
right, yeah.
AEGs just don't cut it for that.
I do agree with Jedi there that the Philippines seems to be quite high into the HPA thing. But again, they're like into more the gamery side of things, um, more than anything. Um, and yeah, it's very regional specific. But again, we're not seeing AGs there. We're seeing people go for a GBR or, there's low range AGs will always be there because they're always the
Mm,
gateway and they're easy to get into. But I think the mid to higher range AGs will see really start to disappear, and we are already seeing them start to disappear. I
yeah.
mean, some are already gone. Where are GBLS gone? They were big for a
Well, I
while,
mean,
weren't
that's going back to how I ended up with a load of VFC GBBRs. I don't know if you remember, but when I sold a load of NGRSs, I had a choice. I was going to get 2 GBLSs or go gas blowback. And you convinced me to try the VFC system. And I ended up buying, I think, 3 gas blowbacks instead of, or 3 or 4 even, and
they?
mags, or
Instead of
three
one
and
GBLS.
3 and loads of mags instead of 1 GBLS and an upper for it as well. And
Yeah,
when you see what you need to do to look after, and they even recommend a specific grease, an aerospace grease for the bloody
yeah,
GBLS compared to the GBBRs, it was nah. I'm going this way.
yeah. Well, I actually don't maintain my guns. Honestly, I
I
don't.
clean the barrels out, and I occasionally put a bit of lubey stuff on the bolts now.
If I remember, and I'm going to be going out for a game, if I remember before I pack them, I will take the bolt carrier out, wipe any grease that's been left on it, and just put a clean bit of grease on top. That is all I do. And check the mags aren't leaking.
Yeah.
I do nothing else. And quite often I don't even do that and then get to the game and realise that like all the grease has been on there for 2 years and the bolt
Gunked
was never
up and
moved.
yeah.
And it's just a case of, okay, wipe it on the sleeve, put it back in, and it runs.
They are a lot more resilient than they used to be. They're not the sensitive
I was always the
little,
same with the WEs, to be honest
yeah,
with
safe queens that they
you.
used to be. If it wasn't absolutely perfect, they wouldn't fire. Now they'll.
That, I don't think that G36 has ever seen cleaning, and that's been used mostly as a bad guy gun for training.
Yeah.
That I mean, it used to see skirmish. That used to be a constant skirmish gun when I was back in my skirmishing 3 times a week phase. And then once I stopped doing gaming and started doing all the training stuff, that was thrown in the crate of weapons available for the training. Same with I had a stack of GHK cases. I still got some, and they were literally just put in a thing, and you were told pick whichever one you want to go and shoot at the good guys when they come through the door. Sort of.
Nice.
But their mags did need maintaining, to be honest. I did find that out the hard way.
Yeah. What did I find the other day? I can't remember what mag it was, but it been gassed up last time I used it, which was God knows when, and it still held gas. It didn't have a lot left in it, but it was still holding gas. And that was a VFC one. It was one of the Stanags that I don't tend to use these days because I've got mostly VMags. But yeah, I don't mind cleaning them. I certainly prefer working on the GBBRs to AEGs.
Oh yeah,
That's for
I mean,
sure.
I was sometimes there's certain guns that you know, if I'm going to use them regular, I will degrease them. Or if I'm bored and I'm sat up here for a while, I'll take the bolt carrier out as 3 or 4 rifles and I'll wipe over. But there's guns in here that so I'll just pick this magazine up and I keep it off camera. This is the KWA Glock 19 magazine.
Oh, the one you were on
It's
about
not
earlier, yeah.
Yeah, it's not been used since probably 2007-ish. It did fire around last year. There's no gas in this mag. I didn't bother storing any gas in it, so it should leak like a sieve. I'm gonna go and get gas, and we'll see if it actually still works. This is a 22-year-old gun.
Probably will still work. I'd be surprised actually if it doesn't. I know guys who've got Western Arms pistols that they've gassed up. They're like the Nokia of the gas blowback world. Charge them once and they'll run forever. So this should be
That's not
interesting.
that's not leaking. That's been
Uh,
left empty
yeah,
since last year. That's not leaking.
like I
We're
say, it's
not
like the
doing
Nokia.
anything. Right.
Now, yeah, the Wii, what like Tom says there, the P226. Now, in my mind, the P series that we did was some of the best gas
They were
pistols
amazing.
they ever
They were
made.
amazing.
Yeah,
I've still got a 228 down there, and I've still got a 266 down there from WE actually. I have replaced a couple of mine with the VFC ones because I got the nice wooden box collector
yeah,
early
that was
edition.
really nice. I wanted the one before that, which came in the yellow and white box, which is what the original SIG pistols came
So
in.
that's yeah. So my mate Jay got that box. They still do them. They're in my Parabellum. They still do them. They are fucking beautiful. It's the same pistol, but just with different box,
Yeah.
and they are absolutely beautiful. They really are. I don't want to put it in a holster.
Have you used it,
That's
or is
not,
it still in the box?
it's in its wooden case, sat on the
Yeah.
desk there with a cloth over it.
I mean,
Um,
it is a showpiece, isn't it? It's a beautiful piece,
well,
and the box is beautiful as well. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You know, you're saying all of my GBBRs are AR platform, but it has its benefits. Like the toolkit that I've got is perfect for doing anything that needs doing on an AR GBBR, especially
yeah,
VFC ones, and I can strip them down in minutes and know exactly what I'm doing. And there's no, oh, what gearbox is it? Oh, have I got the right springs? Do I need this? How was this one put together? Is this the same as the Marui spec, or is this the Cyma or the VFC, or like you get with AEGs, especially with AKs?
yeah,
Which model or what type is it? The GBBRs are just even the MWS ones. They're not that bad. You've got the trigger box, which I much prefer how the VFC ones are done, which is like a proper fire control group.
yeah. But WE was on a trigger box as well, and everyone.
Yeah,
The funny thing is, all the TM fanboys used to slag off the WE for having a trigger box. And then yeah, the rest of it. What was I going to say to you? Fuck, I don't know now. By the way, that KDA 19 worked.
Yeah. It's like the
Amazingly.
Nokia, like I said, it's like the Nokia 3310 of the airsoft world. Charge
Feel
it
it feels
once
shit.
and it'll
It
last
feels
forever.
shit. But yeah, it does still work. I said to you earlier on actually about, because obviously with one of the bonuses of having all the AR platforms is that you've got AR magazines coming out of their fucking demon hole, basically. What about the FNC, mate? Because
Oh yeah, Boz tried to sell me his FNC for ages. I don't know if he's still got it. I think he's sold it now. I may now. I know you can put a Picatinny rail on the dust cover, so I could put an EOTech on there or something. Then
yeah,
I may look at it again, but it won't be for a few months because the M7's coming out.
see, I'd rather have an FNC than an M7 by a
Don't say
long shot.
that, Dave, because I know what's going to come next in the chat. It'll be no balls, and then
It
I'll
is an
and then I'll
it's
have to buy
beautiful
it
rifle.
because that's
The
the
good thing
law.
about it, the reason I say about it is because obviously it takes the M4 mags,
Yeah,
but it has such a different operating system, such a different feel. There we go.
yeah,
Um, Such a different feel that it'll give you a different experience while still having the compatibility with magazines.
yeah. In fairness, I don't think I've actually fired one. Or did I have a
And it
go
has
when I
your
came down to see you in Gloucester? I know I'd have gone your
may have,
foul.
oh no, it may not have had the FNC at that point.
No, I don't think you had. You had the foul. I'd have gone that, and you had the 249. So
Mhm.
maybe I just didn't get round to firing the FNC.
I may not have had it there.
No, you might not have done, but I will maybe look into it.
It has mechanical 3-round burst as
I
well.
know that is quite appealing, actually. That is quite appealing because the 3-round burst on the A2, the M16 A2, was really nice. I
Yeah,
did like that.
I'll answer Jedi on that. It isn't as loud and shock and awe as the LAR, the FAL. It's more it's more refined than the FAL in the sense it's not whacking you in the fucking shoulder and deafening you every time you fire it. But it's got a lot of the charm of the FAL. And it's got, I mean, mine certainly has the range and accuracy. And it is fun. And you can get to be Al Pacino for a bit.
Yeah, but then I'd have to get like one of the VFC Kimber 1911s and get some ivory grips on it as well.
One right there. That's a nice pistol. Actually, we haven't. You're not a 1911 guy, are you, really?
No, not really.
Well,
I
neither
like the
am I.
shorter ones. I'm not a fan of the standard 5-inch length ones.
I'm not a 1911 guy, but look how many 1911s there are.
Yeah. I mean, my pistol collection is woeful at the moment. I think I've got less than 10 pistols for the first time in
No, Dave.
10 years. I'm going to have to shoot off in a minute as well,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
we have been on for 2 hours.
Yeah, over 2 hours. So maybe we should wrap it up. Yeah, I do like your staccato. Yeah, the C2 staccato, the T8 version, is a beautiful handgun. I'm willing to die
Yeah,
on that hill. That's one of the only sort of 2011 that I actually like.
I'm not a big 2011 fan. I love the 1911 platforms, but not to use. But the VFC Kimber Ultra Carry, the range on that, it doesn't belong. It doesn't. It shouldn't have that range.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
the
there.
little stubby one, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's
Boss has
not
got one of
there.
those, and again, it's beautiful, and it just shoots like
And the guide rod hot is
yeah.
click, 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 really nice and tactile. I've put wood grips on mine because I'm special.
See, I'd have to get the white grips. I mean, I've got all the beads, so now I suppose I need an FNC, don't I? And the parakeet. I'm going to have to do it, aren't I?
Yeah,
Damn
you are.
it. Oh, you've got
Okay.
his little Kimber, so I'm going to have to buy that off you then, Dave. Damn, this is getting
Or
expensive.
I could sell you one out of the box, you know.
I'm going to have to go before I end up spending too much money.
But yeah, thank you all for visiting. It's been lovely
Yes,
having you all here tonight. Thank you for your questions and your comments.
and
I hope you enjoyed this.
if you want us to do this again, let us know, and we can do it another one as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do it again if everybody wants to see that. So it'd be nice to read touch guns at some point, wouldn't it, as well? But there we go. Can't be beggars and choogers at the same time.
If you have like a pointy stick, can you do it with that? Do you think, or is
Oh,
that?
I've got a metal ruler.
Yeah, point at them, see what happens. No, we'll probably maybe for next time.
This one.
Yeah.
Or this one. It's backwards. Right, anyway.
Cool. Good to see you again, mate. And,
no worries, take care.
Thanks, folks. See you all soon.
Thanks for joining all. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.